If Lands Could Kill, featuring Night City, Ryke, Samhain Crow, and Hot Sauce.
Welcome to another episode of If Lands Could Kill. I'm Knife City.
Samhain Crow, hot to the sauce.
And we are -1 again this week.
Again.
Unfortunately, Ryke could not join us.
Yeah, this guy just doesn't want to play ball.
Yeah.
Where's the dedication?
I know, right?
What's up with that? Everyone give him a bunch of hate mail on his Twitter account that doesn't exist. Just put it on If Lands Could Kill at Twitter and just give him a bunch of hate mail.
Yeah, and then we'll show it to him.
Pretty much. And he'd be like, I don't fucking care.
We'll show it to him when he shows up.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is episode 45? 6?
I think it's 45.
It's 45.
Probably
We had
45.
Villigence for 44.
Yeah, that's right. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about mine and Crow's Tiny Leaders FNM experience, Crow's pre-release experience, some modern decks, or modern deck that Hot Sauce has made, and we're gonna go over some judge rulings that have changed. So let's go ahead and hop into it. How have your guys' week been?
Hot sauce. You want to take that away real quick?
Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. So I was not on the last cast because I was away in Mormontown, Utah. It was for my girlfriend. My girlfriend's family, basically. Both of her parents are turning like 60, and so the week of their birthdays, they had like this family reunion that went on or whatever. So we went up to Utah. We rented this, I don't want to say weeks, I didn't put a damn dollar in, but this fucking house that was 6 bedrooms with a pool and a sauna. And I mean pool, I mean like, you have to like walk down like 100 feet of path on the property to get to the pool, which goes down like this huge hill. And there's like a fucking jacuzzi on a balcony and like I said, a sauna, and the house itself was like somewhere in the range of like 4,500 square feet. You know, it's like this monster in Park City, which is like a resort town in Utah. So anyways, we did that and did this whole fun stuff. Because they're Mormons, they're not like, there's only, so they, basically, my girlfriend has 4 siblings. 2 of those siblings are like practicing Mormons, the other 2 are not. They're like, they're still like trying to be like respectful to the family, so no one's like ridiculous going, partying every night. They're like pretty normal people, but the other 2 are a little more strict. So like when we got there, it's kind of like, all right, no drinking. And I'm like, well, I like drinking.
That shit ain't gonna fly.
You know what I mean? I'm like, so-and-so's husband likes drinking, so me and him got together and we're like, all right. So first night out there, we go and like to the grocery store to go buy some dinner stuff, and we're like, all right, we're obviously gonna go get some alcohol. In the grocery store, they only sell 4% or lower alcohol content for anything.
They don't even like hard. There's no hard liquor.
There's no hard liquor there.
It's just really bad beer.
Yeah, so like
There's no hard liquor?
Well, okay, I'll get to that. But in the grocery stores, there's nothing but 4% or less. So even if like your like say Dos Equis is 5%, not there. It's less than 4%. So
they have to make special Dos Equis.
So like even like
which is horrible in and of itself.
Bud Light is normally 4.2%. And Bud Light there is 3.2%.
So they put a little bit more water into it.
They put a lot of water. They already have like 95% water, and now they put 97% water in their fucking beer. So anyways, you go there, and I'm looking at all the beers, and they actually have some good brands, but they only sell the one type that is low alcohol. So they have like Ballast Point here in San Diego makes great beers. They only sell Even Keel IPA, which is a session IPA, which session means that it is a really, really low alcohol beer. So like, if you're like on your way home from work and you want to have a beer, but you don't want to like get a buzz so you can actually drive home and see the family, you look for a session beer. That's like what you can tell the bartender. And so anyways, they sell that because it's like, 3.8% or something like that. I'm like, all right, this fucking sucks. So they actually do have state, approved liquor stores that are like literally like one per town type shit, you know what I mean? Where they have one and you walk in and it is like straight up liquor. Like just nothing, I don't even know if they have beer there. It's just like whatever the hardest shit is in town, like that's where it's at.
There's like no Snickers at the counter.
No, none of that.
Hard liquor as far as the eye can see.
So Snickers are replaced by single shooters.
Yeah. It's literally just like, booze, and that's all it is. So it's kind of like, like,
They're rolling a bank then.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's obviously the majority aren't drinking, but, for the ones that are drinking, holy shit.
You are correct, sir. So they have all kinds of booze there. And, like even Bevmo that we have here, Beverages and More, that place, it does have like other snacks and all that shit. Like you're saying, it doesn't, none of that shit. It's just like business as usual. Like they're down to the business. So as I go there after the Vons or whatever the fuck we went to, and so we got home kind of late. And so they were already like, all right, like, we're suspicious. What's going on?
You're like walking in clean.
Yeah. No, we kept it in the trunk of the car.
No, did you sneak a bottle of Jack up your ass and then get inside?
Oh, absolutely. I got room for like 4
I know
bottles.
how wide you are in there.
Yeah. Oh, why do you know? That's interesting.
Well,
Tell me a
I
story.
Bill Cosby to your ass and put you to sleep and then have my way.
You Michael Jackson my ass up.
No. You're not 10.
Well, my butt is. Anyways, moving on. So we snuck in the booze, it was in the trunk, and they were kind of like, the mom, was like, were they like at a bar? Like, what's going on here? We're like, no, everything's fine, everything's normal. And they're like, all right, we're fine. And whatever.
It was funny. They actually brought up she made
not to me, but they said it to somebody else. They weren't mad because even if I did, they're not like the mom and dad are not practicing, so they're not like
not practicing. They're still this uppity about it.
No. They were just assuming that we were, and it's kind of like it's just frowned upon because two of their son, one of their son and one of their daughters is practicing. So like the parents are looking out for the minority in the group to make sure that that's all.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, just because they're practicing, why does everybody have to follow?
You're right. I get it.
What they're doing.
Either way.
So like you're sloppy, get drunk in front of them. That'd be disrespectful. But to have a drink, why is that a big thing?
This is neither here nor there, and I think about it all the time, but it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I just have to mind my morals.
Yeah, I understand. I understand why you wouldn't challenge it. Yeah. I'm just interested in your views. Like, why the fuck
it's just like more of a respect thing.
Yeah,
like, even though it sucks.
That's it. It's respect. That's all it is. So, and I'm fine with that. So that's why I hide it. So we did that, and like, I remember the sister that is, the wife to the guy I went to the store with, he told her because she like got it out of him. And so she was looking at me across the table at dinner like, what the fuck did you do? And I'm just like, arms up like, what? Nothing happened. What the fuck, And we're doing that like without talking across the table. And so the rest of during the week we're trying to like sneak in booze and like put it like, we bought vanilla vodka so we can put it in Coke and it wouldn't smell like anything. It'd smell like vanilla. We're trying to be sneaky. trying to be clever.
So you're going back like 15 years. These tricks.
So I actually bought a bottle of bourbon, but it's no fucking good because it stinks.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, so I actually brought it home unopened because like whatever. So what the whole point of the story really is that the wife of the guy I went to the store with was giving me the dirty looks like, what the fuck? Like she's like one of the good people. She's not like a Mormon person. So she like was one of the good people. One of the good guys. There's the bad guys and there's the good guys. So she was just
Mormons.
She was just doing it like, what the fuck are you sneaking around for? Come to find out, like day 3, she brought 2 handles of vodka in her suitcase to the outing. So she's
outing?
To the house. It was in her suitcase the whole time. She's like looking at me like I'm a bad.
What a cunt!
Yeah, she had it before we even went to the store. She made us waste money at the store and was giving me dirty fucking looks the whole time.
Did her husband not know?
No, she had no idea.
Oh my god!
So I was like, you bitch! Like, what the fuck? You totally pulled a fast one on me. You give me a hard time when she was actually the bad one. And like later in the week, we went golfing at midnight, basically, like maybe 10 p.m. We went golfing where you have like glow in the dark golf balls, and you go out and you actually play like a solid like 9 holes on a real course. And it's like a little tournament that they hold there, and it's like nobody's like that good. It's not like a big deal, but it's fun. And while we're walking around, I was like, oh, that'd be pretty sick if I could like bring some beers with me or something like that or some alcohol. But like everyone's around us, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. So like normally when I play golf maybe like 3 times a year, and I always bring alcohol with me because it's like, it's fun. You got like, you're like, 5 hours in the sun, like why not have some booze with you? So, we go like, we're like on the first hole, and she brings out a fucking Deja Blue bottle filled with vodka. I'm like, you are the biggest trickster out of all of us. And so we had like a bottle of Dr. Pepper, and we were just like chugging the vodka and then sipping the thing while all the Mormon people are all around us. But like, trying to make it like, of course, discreet.
She wasn't giving you dirty looks. She was going, you fucking amateur.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't bring it with you. You went out when you were here.
Idiot, you made them question our situation here. They don't think about booze.
Yeah, it may have been. So, anyways, that was like the trip. We had fun. We went like out in a boat and did like some tubing, and it's pretty normal. Like the close family is all like pretty normal, even though it's like some of them are practicing Mormons, like the outside family, I would say. But the people that like my girlfriend's closest with are not. So like we can do whatever we want. It's very normal, and they're actually like a lot of fun. So I can actually say that her family is like pretty bitchin'.
The adventures in Mormontown.
Yeah, exactly. Besides that, everyone can phase out for 10 minutes or something like that. No, not 10 minutes, but for the car talk of the episode. So I got my car painted, obviously, before on the last podcast talked about that. Since then, I got the windows tinted, and I installed new taillights, new front turn signals, front clear blinkers, basically just like I'm restoring the car to make every outside piece look brand fucking new. Under the hood, I put an intake, short ram intake, and also installed like this little, like the coolant reservoir, like where you like actually pour coolant into your, in your engine whenever you take the cap off, pour the coolant in. Well, like that on the car when I got it was like fucking plastic and like rotting and broken and just shit. So I looked online and found like the factory Nissan piece or whatever, and the fucking thing was like $110 for a piece of molded plastic. Like literally a plastic, 20-ounce bowl. And I'm like, okay, this is fucking ridiculous. So I looked online and I got a welded aluminum one that looks like it's for a damn race car for like $70. So I'm like stoked about that. It looks awesome under the hood, but also like can't like be damaged by like time. You know what I mean? It can't like have a oxidation and just just bullshit. And that can happen to those things. So anyways, the car is, I got my own Twitter account actually also while I was born in Mormontown.
That was the that's where Mormontown's going from.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Crow called it out. Yeah. So I created one. So it's at TEH hot sauce. So Tay hot sauce. TEH because the is always taken up. So it's very easy to just do like the little elite internet speak version of the, which is TEH Tay. So I have that for all my other shit. So anyways, look, if you want to look me up, follow me, whatever, that sounds great. Probably not going to, but it's okay. Anyways, my car is there. There's pictures of it. If you're interested in vehicles, that's what's going on.
Car porn and dog dick pics?
And a lot of, like I said, time lapse of dog dicks. Make sure, like, when they're 6 weeks, they're at this size. And if they're at 1 year, that is a full red rocket. So, yeah, that's what I'm into. I'm weird like that. And the last thing is, I got two boxes of the San Diego Comic-Con Magic Origins promo Planeswalkers. So they are I'd say look it up for pictures, but they are one of each Planeswalker from Magic Origins that is matte black with no color except for like an accent to whatever color their mana cost is. So like Jace will be blue and Liliana will be like a purple because like purple goes along with black. Like a lot of the art has purple along with black. So anyways, I got two of those, so I'm gonna play one, probably just try it out in like Tiny Leaders, and then once standard becomes a thing, the new standard becomes a thing, I'll try and build around and throw some of that shit in there. But I want to play them, simple as that. The other box I'm just gonna hold on to, and maybe I'll just wait.
Sell off to buy a modern.
Yeah, I'll wait like 3 or 4 years, and then when I really want, whatever it is, like $500 or whatever it's gonna be, then I'll just sell it and get the cash in hand and buy more Magic cards. But I'm not looking to I didn't buy it, two of them, to make money off it necessarily. I know I'm making money off it, but it's going back into into Magic. It's going back to Wizard's pocket. It's not going to, just fucking beer money and hookers.
It's like when you win at the casino. The casino's just gonna get it back.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and you're really not winning, but the time investment and the fun is worth it.
Right. It's totally
Although when you do sell, we could just have a really, really, really fun cocaine weekend. Just throw it out there.
I could have a fun cocaine weekend.
Come on.
Come on,
bro. I'll get you the phone numbers.
No, I don't need the phone number.
Oh, goddamn.
We're good.
Can I get the numbers up from you?
Yeah, we can work this out.
Come on, guys. I'm in NA. I know a lot of people.
You are absolutely the best person
That's
to talk
true.
to.
I'm going to show one day,
I always thought about it,
got
like,
some numbers?
if you're like a drug dealer just like walking to an NA meeting and I just picked up like 20 clientele,
There was that TV show, Weeds. you guys ever watch that show?
You know, I tried to watch it. I got through like the first half of the first season, and like it's funny and it's cool, and like, hey, Kevin Nealon, why not? But
Kevin Nealon's great in that show.
Yeah, but it wasn't the best for me.
I like 4 seasons, 5 seasons.
See, that was probably the best in the first like 3-4 seasons. Probably the best.
Yeah.
So it kind of drawn after that, but I overall enjoyed the series. But that happens one time. They're trying to sell weed. They go to an NA meeting and like try to hook people up and try to get them back on it because they know the relapse and shit. It's like, oh my god,
and you get to see
assholes.
And you get to see what's her name's boobs.
Actually, and she's a little skinny, but she's pretty nice. It's not bad. Nice tits.
She's got bad nips though.
Nah, but they're still nice. They're still nice tits.
I don't remember bad nips.
Well, they were okay. They just weren't great.
Well, now that we've alienated, the female part of our
life. Listen, none of your nipples are bad, okay? We enjoy all your nipples. I enjoy them all. Maybe not like, small tribe in Africa, the size of a small dinner plate fucking nippers.
See, those ones I don't
nipples.
like.
Nippers?
Oh, those nippers.
Oh, the nippers.
The nippers on my day were tiny.
All I'm saying is that when you watch the National Geographic footage, you're like, alright, those are not the best nipples. I get that. That makes sense.
I am not hard right now.
Cue for edit. But anyways, that's pretty much what my week was. It's car stuff, Utah stuff, and getting some bitchin' planeswalkers. Also, just so you guys know, if you're not familiar with the Comic-Con promo stuff, it came with a book, a hardback, full color book about the lore for each planeswalker. I also put a video up on our YouTube channel, If Lambs Could Kill, just going through the box just for fun, because I feel that a lot of people have heard of it and people want it, but maybe people haven't seen it opened and whatever else.
It's a good little 12-minute video.
Yeah,
it was
and
enjoyable.
When I looked on YouTube beforehand to see is there videos of this, and I didn't find a single one. So I just feel like I had to do it justice.
Yeah, I was glad you did that because I didn't know about the book until you posted it. I would have found out talking to you tonight, whatever kind of thing. But watching that video, I was like, oh, there's a lore book, and then you flip through it real quickly, and damn, that thing looks really fun.
It's a nice book. I mean, I would say the book should be like a $20 to $30 book in stores normally. That's how the quality of it is. And it is selling online right now on eBay for $25-$30.
Yeah, at the very least, there's 30 different pictures for artwork wise.
Yeah, there's a lot of good.
And then you get the lore for their spark stories and shit.
And the stories are good. I'm now I'm not a lore person, but I will admit that the stories are good. So anyways, moving on to Mr. Samhain Crow. What's going on?
I had a fantastic weekend. It was so jam packed with all kinds of fun shit that it just I had to recover for 2 days afterwards. Or actually, I don't know if you listened to the cast before, I don't like sleeping. But I actually slept for my typical nights 4 or 5 hours maybe. After the weekend ended on Monday and Tuesday, I ended up sleeping, 6 hours on those nights. That's really strange for me.
Holy shit.
I was a very long weekend.
Even?
So after we cast on Thursday, the next day, me and Knife City went out to a local card shop that I found out was having a Tiny Leaders FNM. So we went out there. We'll get into that later. But that was a lot of fun. And as soon as that ended around 10:30, I went and got some food and then went to the midnight pre-release at San Diego Games and Comics. And pulled very well. Again, we'll get into that. We'll get to that part of the segment. Had a great fucking evening. Got home at 6 in the morning. Sleep for a couple hours. Then on to the noon pre-release at Villainous Lair, different card shop, where I didn't have as good of a record there, but I pulled more money overall. So that was still fun. And then from there, though, I instantly drove home at 5:30 to get picked up by my buddy because UFC Fight Night was that night. So he took me over to his buddy. Always buys it, so we went over there. And this guy had literally the biggest bar stocked apartment I've ever seen in my life. We went there, had some barbecue, and he had probably at least 200 different bottles of booze. Anything and everything you could fucking think of, essentially.
Damn, that's dangerous.
Yes, it was. And watching the UFC fights, I'm not big into the UFC, but there's one guy I really like is Conor McGregor, and he was the main card for the night, and so I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go see this. And so we drank a shitload there. One of this guy's buddies shows up who apparently is a Navy SEAL. So we're all hanging out, drinking, having a good time, doing all kinds of Jaeger bombs and Moscow mules and all kinds of fucking shit. And then all of a sudden, the guy's apartment, and his buddy are like, hey, let's go downtown. My buddy works as a doorman at Barley Mash, which is a, like, hoppin' downtown bar.
That's Adam, right?
Yeah, my buddy Adam, yeah. Gay Adam from that one video.
Gay Adam.
Yeah. He's not actually gay, but it's just funny that way.
You saying gays are funny?
Yeah,
That's
like
not
gays.
fair.
Why? Well, you're funny too.
Well, whatever. It's fine. Am I gay? Question mark.
I assume you are.
Yeah, well.
So we go down there, and this is Comic-Con weekend. So there's tons of people, so many good fucking views. It was incredible. Lovely. We go down there. There's like 100 people deep in line. He walks to the main security area, and, he knows them, so he's like, yeah, come with me. You got 4 guys, just come in the back door over here. Like, that sounds gay, but anyways, we get in there, have a great fucking time. The Navy SEAL guy just like, it's all on my buddy's card at this point, so he gets like a discount and everything. And the Navy SEAL guy just hands him like $80 and goes, yeah, this will get us started. Well, between like my buddy's discount and everything else, we ended up drinking at this place and having so many fucking more Jaeger bombs and all kinds of shit that I spent like $5, and that was to help with the taxi cab back home afterwards. So that was the most amount of booze I've ever drank in my life for $5. It was incredible. It was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah, I did hear you had that.
It was intense.
So afterwards, you're going to get to it, but you had a barbecue at the house.
Yeah, the next day.
Yeah, the next day, and then I remember you talking to Adam like, yeah, I don't feel so good today.
So yeah, I mean, I was doing fine and whatnot, and then we went from there, though. We stopped at another bar on the way home, like close to where we live, because like his girlfriend's aunts were still there, and whatever. So we stopped in there, though, and that's when it started hitting me. I was like, dude, like he bought me a Pabst, which is my favorite beer, and I started drinking and I'm not one for leaving dead soldiers and not finishing drinks, but I was like, dude, I'm done. Let's get the fuck out of here. It's like closing time anyway, so I'm like, he's like, okay, I'll block you, just pour the beer out. Like, okay, thanks, dude. Get back to my house. Get out of his car, and like as soon as he pulls away, I'm walking 10 feet in front of me. I end up puking in my driveway. I was like, "Fuck, okay, well that was good." I actually wake up at like 4 in the morning because I had to puke, which does not happen to me. I'm not one for puking much, and let alone like the next day, like it doesn't happen. But I drank so many fucking like Red Bull, like Jaeger drinks, and all kinds of shit like that. I was like, "Holy crap!" I had to wake up at 4 in the morning and puke, and then go back to bed. And then I had, plans for, it was kind of like a birthday barbecue deal, or had a bunch of people coming over to do a Magic draft and play Magic all day long, basically. Well, on the invite, I originally said, starting at 10:30 is when at any time you want, come over.
Right.
So I didn't get out of bed till 10:30. I still had to clean up the entire downstairs. I had to start, because I was smoking ribs, which takes 4 or 5 hours.
Which were bomb, by the way.
And I'm glad you guys liked them.
They were fucking good.
Yeah, they were pretty good overall. So, I'm fucking sweating my ass out, getting things together and all this kind of shit. When Adam shows up, and then I tell him, dude, I finally finished cleaning up all this crap. I need a shower. Oh, I was fucking miserable all goddamn day. I'm nasty right now. So by the time I get in the shower, 15 whatever minute shower, and by the time I get out, Ryke's already there. So those two were playing and whatnot. So then that led into the day of Magic, which was just fucking...
Yeah, it was epic. It was fun.
It was pretty fun.
The Chaos Draft was kind of terrible, because Chaos Drafts always equal terrible.
Yeah,
they're always a fun idea. They're a fun idea. We can play with everything. And then you're like, all these cards suck. All the old packs, like the Odyssey that Knife brought over, they were all just 5 mana, 2/4s and shit.
When this enters the field, exile 2 of their creatures, but when this creature dies, they get those creatures back in their hand or whatever. It's like, oh my god, that's such a bad card. So it was a good day. It was a lot of fun. Me and Knife ended up facing off for the 1 and 2 spot, and then BioV and his brother came by, and unfortunately they were at Comic-Con all fucking weekend, and BioV, Steve, who guest starred on a few episodes back, he was pretty drunk when he showed up, and unfortunately the idiots, even though I texted them several times throughout the weekend, including that day, to make sure they brought packs for Chaos Draft, both forgot to Chaos Draft. They both forgot to bring packs for the draft. So we pushed the draft back an hour waiting for them to finally show up. They show up and they don't have packs. Oh, you idiots. So they hung out for an hour before they ended up leaving. But the other cool thing was that BioV, he's a very generous person. And he's been playing Magic for a long time, got tons of fucking cards. So he brought me this fucking box out of his closet that he kind of had gone through, but not really in a long time or whatever. He just hands it to me. I'm like, what is this for? He goes, well, it's your birthday, blah, 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 present. I'm like, oh, fucking A, thanks, man. Holy shit. So, like, we're about to start the draft, so I only grab, like, the first 5 cards, look at it real quick, and there's, like, 5 rares, including the old school Bloodstained Mire worth, like, $25. I'm like, God damn, okay, fucking sweet. And after going through it, there's a lot of, like, legit cards in there. I think I like 6 Delvers. Those aren't expensive, but it's still pretty cool. And all these Delvers. I got like 3 Gataxian probes, and I think overall they handed me this box that was at least $100 worth of Magic cards, at the very least. And there's probably fucking 4,000 Magic cards in the box itself. So
yeah, it had like 6 rows?
4 rows, but like 2 foot long.
Yeah.
Or like 18 inches long with 4 rows. And like all like packed with cards, and including like I got he had I forget what the set is. It's some kind of like one of those battle box sets where it has like its own like symbol, like the symbol is a skull. So like every single one of the cards from that set are in foil. So I got a Cabal Therapy from that as well. So I'm like, well, fucking A, man, that's sweet. So now I have 2 of those, and those are $12, $13 cards. So I'm like, fucking A, man, you know. So it's pretty sweet. And on top of that, though, the amount of cards that are in there will now be able to be scavenged through, because Knife already has a pretty fun Pauper Pheasant cube.
Pheasant? It's a pheasant.
Pheasant cube.
It's a bird cube.
So now we'll be able to rifle through that and add a bunch more things to it, all kinds of, you know, I don't know if you want to like actually take things out and put things in, or if you want to expand the size of the cube of it, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'm still like messing around with what I'm going to keep in and take out, and I'm uploading.
Mixing them up,
putting them on Cube Tutor so I can like look at all the stats it spits out at me. But yeah, I just kind of want to pick through it, pick out stuff that's, you know, obviously not worth money, or if you have like more than a play set, you know, I'll take them just to mess around with.
There's a bunch of stuff in there that may not be worth money, but are really good, like legit cards for, you know, hanging leaders and formats like that. Like a couple of Smothers were in there, and just staples of just good shit overall. Like I was just like all said and done, went through all the cards, and I said there was 4 rows, like 18 inches deep. I have all the cards that I like pulled to the side of being like legit cards, being whether they were money cards or playable cards. 1 full row was like legit cards.
Nice.
I'm like, fucking A, like really? This is awesome, man. Thank you. This is, you know, I spent hours going through that thing.
Totally awesome.
Pretty epic, yeah.
I thought he was just joking when he was like, hey, this is your birthday present.
Yeah, I'm like, me too.
What are you talking about, dude? You brought like 5 commander decks, right? You're gonna play. No, this is a birthday present. Holy shit. All right.
I'm like, yeah, well, fucking A, man. I was pretty stoked. Other person, Thomas, who we've talked about before in the cast, I met.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Tom. Shout out.
Yeah, he brought me a pack of the original Modern Masters, so that's pretty cool. The one he brought like 3, 1 for me, 1 for him, and then 1 for him to draft with. And I actually ended up pulling Lotus Bloom, which is funny because just like the week before that, I bought a pack of Mirrodin Besieged and pulled another one of those. So now I have 3 of the Lotus Blooms, which is cool, but I was like, oh yeah, it could have been a better pack. But it was still fucking sweet that he bought me the pack, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, he's a totally cool guy.
Yep.
And then the other thing that BioV did was, even though he didn't play in our fucking draft, he's like, what does the winner get? And I'm like, oh, we didn't really plan for that, you know? And he goes, okay, well, he just goes through his cards and pulls out, and Johnny Steadfast and goes, okay, even though I'm not playing in this tournament, in this draft, whoever wins gets this card.
So yeah, he gave us a damn Planeswalker
cool,
to just like to the winner.
Yeah.
Which is just another one of those things that just shows like what a solid person is. You know?
Yeah, he's very unselfish and really cool, and just wants to play Magic and wants to be around people liking Magic. So it's a good guy. So shout out to Steve BioV. Other than that, last couple days, my mom has had some she has bunko this Friday. So the last several days,
what a mom.
We've been having to clean the house vigorously those last few days. Those days have sucked, but the weekend was absolutely amazing. So that was my past.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if we're gonna talk about it much later, but what packs did you guys bring?
Oh, I ended up doing.
First of all, I did Avacyn Restored, Born of the Gods, and maybe M14, I think, something like that. I just bought basic cheap packs, so I didn't buy anything crazy.
I think I did double Return of Ravnica and Mirrodin Besieged.
And I bought Odyssey, Torment, and Judgment.
Yeah.
The whole
horrible fucking packs.
The whole block of 2 2s for 4.
If it says on the pack for experts only or whatever the
expert level players,
level players these cards suck.
Yeah. These are not good sets.
There were some decent cards.
There's a couple.
Okay, whatever.
You did pass around the Pain Land that's black white?
Yeah, no, it's enters tapped unless you control a swamp.
But there was
Painted Field.
There was a
Painted
Painted Land, I think, also. But either way.
Okay, well, I fucking just card drafted the Tainted Field like, oh yeah, this is going to go to my deck, but it's around here for like, third time through, like, this is going in my lands folder.
Yeah, it was fun, and who ended up winning?
Shut up, you little cocksucker.
Question mark?
Question mark?
And the championship game is me versus Knife, and this piece of shit took it.
Remember that time I played a fun round after and went 2-0 against you, brother?
Yeah.
Didn't matter. He won the whole
No,
thing.
you're right. You already won the Planeswalker. I get it. But you still sucked my...
See, I beat you game one. He beat you on the first fun game
I
afterwards.
was just going to say, which binder did you put that fun into? What a dick.
I liked my deck, actually. I went blue-black and had just the absolute shit ton amount of removal. It was stupid. So, it was good, and then it just didn't draw well, and then your deck was pretty strong as well. So
Yeah, I had like blue-white flyers, kind of subhumans.
That foil Path to Exile.
Subhumans. Human sub-theme. Getting my punk and my magic mixed up. But yeah, it was really fun. Fun times.
So it was a good day.
Yep.
So actually, a bunch of the cards in that boxy gave me were a bunch of lands, so I actually already separated a shitload of them and put them in so now I have like a fat pack full of lands for the next time we do a draft. So
Nice.
I plan cause that was a good time. So I want to invite people over again to do that not too long from now to do a draft.
Yeah, that's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So.
You gotta have ribs, though. Just make sure you have some ribs.
Those dry rub ribs, dude. I'm a fan.
You guys pitch in $5-10. We can do as much as you want.
Sweet.
They were on sale, so it wasn't too bad. But.
That's good. Yeah, ribs are not cheap. I get that. So I was like, when I saw that you had 25 pounds of ribs, I was like, all right, so this guy dropped like $115 on fucking ribs. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
No, it was a sale, so it was like way, way less than that.
Yeah, that's good though. So what's up, Knife?
No.
I sound like Ryke right now. Well, I'm just working my ass off, or whatever that fuck he says. He's not going to listen to this. He's not going to listen to shit.
Working hard, hardly working hard.
I'm going to shoot this weekend, though.
Keep it going. This is fun.
Well, no, the next thing is he doesn't speak anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You should do it every time. Every time somebody misses a cast,
just rag on like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because that totally didn't happen last week.
I didn't listen to the last cast.
Didn't happen last week at all.
Did you guys? I hope you did. A little bit here.
I mean, you'll just have to listen to it.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Good times.
Now I know I have real friends.
Yeah, we talk bad about you behind your back and put it out so the public can hear. But your friends
including you, because you can hear it. So it's not really behind your back.
It's not even behind my back.
You have the effort to hear my shit was talked.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you guys. God, I feel loved.
So, I am gonna get a new job as a dog killer. Because I fucking hate dogs.
Super good at it.
Yeah, I'm really,
that's kind of true.
Really good at it. So everything in my life now revolves around fucking dogs because my crazy ass girlfriend just needed to have 3 and also a puppy on top of that.
Well, you've had 3 puppies so far. Like, you got all of them as puppies.
Well, except for Bowser.
Well, he was still young.
Yeah, he was like 9 months old, so it's still like puppy, but when we got the last one, like super
straight up puppy, like
super duper, can barely walk.
Early as you can like legally buy it. Basically.
Yeah. So my girlfriend insisted on recently that the bulldog we got sleeps on the bed with us, and I'm like, our bed's like 3 feet high, and on her side of the bed there's like no carpet, so I was like, you know what? I'd rather not, just in case it like rolls off or tries to like jump off, like it doesn't have a lot of
it's gonna break its freaking little arms.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have it's not nimble, quite yet. So long story short,
she won.
Yeah, she won. She won. And
what else is new?
Despite me worrying about, the dog's well-being, she won. And so the other morning I woke up to her like freaking out. The bulldog's like laying on the bed, like breathing but not like moving. It looks like it's fucking dead. And she's like, "Oh, it just fell off the bed, and when I went to go pick it up and put it back on the bed, like it won't like stand up. It's like not moving. It's like
I hadn't heard this part. I actually falling off the bed.
Yeah, so it fell on the fucking hard tile and probably like, knocked the fucking shit out of it. And this was like a flashback to like, we had a guinea pig and, I woke up one morning to her like freaking out, holding it's like a super sad story. Her freaking out, like holding the dead guinea pig, like
Why is
crying.
everyone laughing on that? Everyone's laughing.
So she was like freaking out, crying, like holding it, like calling out its name. It was like very, very sad, very sad thing to wake up to, So this was
Okay, I'll buy another for $5. So she didn't learn her lesson.
So this was like.
Sorry, but like, it's just funny in that instance of like, it already happened, and she's like, no, we're good. And then it happens again, and it's like, what the fuck?
Well, like the guinea pig didn't fall off the bed; it just died of natural causes.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I thought it fell. That's what the story sounded to me like it fell off the bed.
I rolled over onto it. No. So I woke up, total flashback of that moment. And I was just like, oh my god, like not again. Like I started freaking out too. So anyways. Rush, take it to the, vet ER and stuff. And anyways, long story short, it had, contusions, a couple contusions on its lungs. And, when we took it in, they said it was looking a little blue, probably from, some lack of oxygen. So they put it like in this, oxygen tent sort of thing. And, did some x-rays and blah, blah, blah. Kept it overnight, which is fucking expensive. And, she was able to pick it up the next day. So this is all happening. And the puppy's not supposed to, like, play with other dogs or get, like, super, rambunctious for 2 weeks. And that's...
As a puppy.
As a puppy with 2 other fucking dogs in the house. So it's like... it's like taking...
Okay, wait, really quick. So the knife now has his hand on his face going like... Oh, like in the symbol of, oh my god, I'm just stressed and what a pain in the ass. It's just the exhausted, just face palm he just did right now.
So, not only did I not want a third dog, of course I'm in love with it now, but I didn't want a third dog. Not only did I say, hey, that third puppy dog should not be on the bed with us because it's going to fall down and get hurt, but now I have to fucking deal with this of my girlfriend still recovering from her hand fucking...
The other dog incident that she fucked up on.
And then...
From dog injuries.
From dog injuries. And then I'm having to, like, keep the dogs apart and, like, feed them and, like, all this medicine. Like, my Rottweiler, we took him in, like, a week... a couple days before this whole thing happened for we thought he swallowed a cattail and he was like choking and stuff, so took him in, there was no cattail, just his throat was bothered for like inflamed or whatever.
Did we go over how much semen you put
from all the semen.
Yes, Jersey, bring it on.
Yes, from all the semen. And so he's like taking like he's taking 3 medicines, like 2 of them are 12 hours, 1 of them's 8 hours. She's taking 2 medicines, like, so I'm just...
Moral story, women are a pain in the ass.
So, every time my girlfriend wanted a dog, she's like, I'll take care of it, I'll do everything, blah, blah, blah. I'm running a goddamn dog hospital in my house.
Do you have the little, like, the little paper cups that you put the pills in, lined up, writing like who it goes to, what hour, and what day.
They walk up to the window and take it from me.
Yeah,
next to the little like slivers of turkey meat, so they'll actually take it down.
Now I'm just picturing your dogs in little hospital gowns.
Sexy nurses outfits?
No. The ones that like the tie in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I mean like Knife is wearing sexy nurses outfits.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna make this happen.
Send pictures.
And then your girlfriend just sitting there, just hanging out, just
watching TV.
Piece of pizza on her lap.
I'm like,
my hand still hurts.
Yeah. I'm like, honey.
I hope she doesn't listen to this shit.
I'm like, honey, could you please? She's like, my hand.
My hand.
So,
she's playing Xbox with 2 hands, Fuck.
So, yeah, that's just been my fucking week. I don't have any, like, great, funny stories, no, like, anecdotes, just taking care of fucking dogs. It's been, like, stressing me out.
At least you had a good Friday night and a Sunday, huh?
Yeah, and unfortunately, because I had called out of work to take the dog in, I am now currently suspended because of my absences have built up. And so, but would I do it again? Of course. You know, I love the dog. It freaked me out to see it, you know, half dead looking. So I would do it again. No problem.
It's all ridiculous when companies can't understand human factors of an emergency taking place over a fucking 8-hour shift of work.
Both of you guys have witnessed it firsthand.
It's incredible. Like how
having family crisis and then the company being like, yeah, but now you didn't show up to work. It's like, yeah, no fucking duh, because like life is real. You know what I mean? Like we're here and things happen and you got to take care of those things, whether I have an 8-hour day or not.
Yeah, it's like my wife has arthritis problems, so she'd have like a flare-up happen where like a arthritic flare-up for her is like extremely painful. Her joints swell, everything happens. It's just really very painful for her. And like when we just had the baby, like
I thought you didn't even get hand jobs. It's weird.
I mean, just had the baby, she had a couple of flare-ups because, you know, when the weather changes, like shit happens to her. So, like, you know, I call out from fucking work and same kind of thing. It's just like, oh, you can't be missing work. It's like, fuck you, motherfucker. I will never choose coming to work for your piece of shit company over taking care of my family. Yeah. This is real fucking life, cocksucker.
And, like, even though, like, oh, whatever, it's a dog, you know, like, some people just don't give a shit about dogs, you know, just keep it outside and, you know, there's some water or whatever. Like, you know, unfortunately, I mean, I love dogs, and also because of my girlfriend, it kind of, like, makes me care for them more because of how much she cares for them. And so, like, what am I going to say? Like, yeah, it looks like the dog's dead, and you're, like, having a panic attack yourself and can barely breathe, and you can only drive with one hand because your other hand's fucked up, so you got to do all this stuff. You know, I'm going to go to my shitty job and, you know, whatever. Deal with it. Call me and let me know.
So figure it out, bitch.
Yeah. Deal with it. Let me know how it turns out. Like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, so. That's not real life.
So, whatever, I get to hang out and play Magic and scratch my nuts, and it's great.
And then you go back to work Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah. So the Saturday, I guess, before this even, he's already working before this cast even comes out. So.
Yeah.
But either way.
Or I called out because,
I said, fuck it!
You know, fuck you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
So,
moving on.
Moving right along to, we're going to try and do this in a somewhat chronological order. Let's talk about our Tiny Leaders FNM experience.
That was a lot of fun.
I wish I was there.
A lot of fun.
So it was at San Diego Games and Comics.
At their one at the mall, because they have a few here.
Yeah, they have two in El Cajon. And we went to the one in the mall, which I felt like...
It's awkward, right?
Yeah, I just felt awkward.
Did you mean comics and stuff?
Oh, what did I say?
San Diego Games.
Yeah,
comics
and stuff.
My bad. I'm going to edit that out. So we went to comics and stuff over in El Cajon, the one in the mall, and I felt dumb because, I don't know, there's like, right next door is a gym.
Yeah.
And then right downstairs is this like super douchebag, this is going to sound racist, and I really don't mean for it to be, but it's like black and Mexican barbershop. You know, and it happens
That's
to be...
what the douchebags. Have you seen that?
No, it's like the people who like all...
Yeah, it's I'm going to hang out the barbershops. I'm fucking cool.
And the MTV haircut, like they're bumping loud music in the barbershop in the middle of the mall, you know, and it's like...
Because they're fucking
I'm
hot.
saying it's a trendy barbershop. It's like whatever.
Douchebag, trendy, whatever.
You want to have a star
Those go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You want to have a star cut in your goddamn head? You want to look like fucking Macklemore. Like it's one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Give
me the Jay-Z, you know. So anyways... So I'm like walking up with this backpack full of Magic cards, just like feeling like a fucking nerd. Yeah, I'm like almost 30, like, yeah, you know, what's up? Some guys, I'm just going to play.
I don't need a haircut because I'm bald, so don't talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. You look like you need to work out. You look like you need to shut up. So, we go up there and I'd been in the shop, like right when they opened, and there's like a lot of open space. It looks like they filled it out pretty nice. It's like actually a really huge shop because, not only do they have like, you know, Magic cards, but comics, both of the comics and stuff have just like a shitload of comic books, a shitload of
memorabilia,
just memorabilia,
action figures,
games, and just everything you can like think
clothes,
of.
everything.
Yeah, so I got this really cool. Me and Elena at the other comics and stuff, we got this really cool like Mario poster that we'd gotten there. So So yeah, it was, we got there a little bit early, so me and Crow, were just hanging out, and people started to show up, and one of the kids was saying that last time it didn't fire because there wasn't enough people.
Because when they do the Tiny Leaders on that same night, they do draft because they're just starting to get into Tiny Leaders. You know, it's a fairly new format, so they're trying to push it. But when it came down to it, people were like, okay, well, I'm either going to draft or I'm either going to do draft or Tiny Leaders. And so last time it didn't fire because it went to draft. So this time actually draft fired and Tiny Leaders fired.
Yeah, both of them fired concurrently. So I was really worried. I was like, if I came all the way down here, if I told my girlfriend, like, okay, I can't do anything Friday, so just let you know, like 2 weeks in advance, and I said this whole thing, and then like I didn't get to play Tiny Leaders, I'd be fucking pissed.
We would have just gone down to down to the mall at the barber shop and played Magic there.
Sitting next to the Sbarro playing Magic.
Yeah.
I mean, the pizza's like $3, so why not?
Yeah, sure. Hands all sticky from Cinnabon, Fantastic.
Get a hot dog on a stick.
So
that was too fucking expensive. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's horrible. It
was
good. It ended up being 8 people playing the tournament.
Yeah. So you played your elf deck?
I played my elf deck, which was just wrecking face and having a great time with it.
Indeed.
I literally, it's a smaller shop, it's a big shop, but as far as the amount of people playing, there wasn't a lot of people there. So they don't have like a clock time set up or times, between rounds, this kind of jazz.
It was super relaxed.
So both my game one was against, we were talking to this kid beforehand. Excuse me. We had this kid beforehand. He's like, yeah, I have this deck, and basically it's all about countering and not letting you do anything and killing your guys off and countering, and then I drop my 1 or 2 win conditions, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so we're talking to him. My match 1 ended up being against this kid. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I need to play around counters and all that kind of jazz. I ended up beating him in 10, maybe 15 minutes at 2-0 without ever seeing one counter. I'm like, one counter spell at all. I'm like, what? What am I playing around? Because you ain't doing a fucking thing right now, man. He ended up board wiping me, but I had still in library and another card that allowed me to refill my hand. So he wiped out all my elves, but then a turn or two later I had just as many, if not more, elves on the board and just wrecked his face. So that went really fast. Your match 1.
Yeah, so I was playing my Esper Mill deck, Milliliter, as I call it.
Fist pump.
So I sit down against my first round opponent, and his name was also Corey. So, I made that joke oh, that's a good name, ha ha ha, And he's
original joke. Here we go.
Awkward social interactions, So he said, yeah, that's one of the hosts of my favorite podcast name. And I was like, I looked at him and I was like, what's the podcast name? And he's like, If Lands Could Kill. And I was like, what?
Is this real life?
Yeah. Who put you up to this?
Yeah. I'm at a different table and I hear this interaction happening a little bit. And Knife looks over and oh, you must be Jersey's friend. He put you up to this shit, huh?
Yeah, I was like,
no, dude, I don't fucking know that guy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, you must know Crow, and yeah, it turns out he didn't. He's just a listener of the show, and it was very surreal, and I felt awkward. No, I just felt awkward because I don't know, for some reason I started feeling all self-conscious.
Pressure's on, I better play well.
All the dumb things I've said,
But you know what? Good for one of our listeners. First of all, shout out to that guy. Secondly, good for him playing Tiny fucking Leaders.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really cool to have our listeners play formats that are just or experience a format that we really enjoy and understand that holy shit, this is the format that we should be playing.
So much power and so many fun things to do.
It's so much fun.
It's really good.
We've already, I said, we talked about it before, Modern is not fully understood, but it's pretty safe to say that there's, the 8 decks available that are the ones that win the top 8s. And then same thing with Legacy, and then same thing with even Standard, after, say, 4 to 6 weeks, it gets pretty cracked. And then we have Tiny Leaders, which is there's only so many Tiny Leaders, there's only so many commanders, But
So
there
many
every
styles.
There's so many styles. Each person. I guess elves is kind of like you have to play certain cards, but you still have a wide variety to go past that. If you want to go straight beat down, or do you want to have other things that take into your strategy? So it's really cool to see. First of all, a listener playing Tiny Leaders, but second of all, seeing a guy that listens to us all of a sudden just be at a shop that we go to play on a Friday. Like, what the fuck? That's so weird.
Like, I haven't been to a Friday Night Magic more than a year, so it was just like very, very coincidental.
And it was your first match.
And it was my first match.
Yeah.
So shout out to Corey.
Nice, right?
Corey Nice on Twitter at Been Thinking a Lot. So shout out to that guy. Super nice guy.
I actually played his sister around too.
Remember, he was the one that also left us that hilarious review that we talked about a few episodes
on
ago.
iTunes, yes.
On iTunes, which is hilarious.
So just super, super small world. So he was playing a
Merfolk deck.
Merfolk. I was about to say Murloc. That's wrong game here. So he's playing he's playing a Merfolk deck. And I believe he was the only game loss I had all day. But
he whooped your ass?
No, game loss.
Oh,
so, but I won.
You lost one game to him. It was one.
Yes.
Didn't you lose one game in the second match?
No, I thought back on
wrong.
it, and I believe I should probably look up on my DCI and see, but I think I only lost one. Yeah. So anyways, he was super nice and. Kind of,
Be nice.
No, I was just trying to remember, like, if it was controlling or what, but,
like tempo?
I think so, but anyways.
Most folks kind of a tempo situation.
Well, either way, Corey, I mean, you're listening, I'm guessing, so, like, why don't you, send us your list?
Yeah.
Go on tappedout.net, build the list if you haven't already, and just send it to us in, the link on MTGcast or, on our Twitter.
I would appreciate it, actually. I plan on making a Merfolk Tiny Leaders deck, so I'd like to see your list and build from there and have ideas.
Well, it was definitely the better of the Merfolk decks I've seen, because I played against one in Vegas when we went, and I just stomped the shit out of that deck. So his deck actually put up a fight. So it was definitely good games. And then the second match, I ended up playing against one of the guys who worked at the shop.
Yeah.
Or owner worked there.
I think he's always there when I'm there. But, comics and stuff is more like, I don't know if it's individually owned or not, because there's a couple of them in San Diego, so I just don't really know.
Well,
I would imagine that they would be individually owned. I would feel like, even though it's a franchise, I feel like you're allowed to purchase franchise stores.
Yeah.
And then you can have your own product variety as long as it passes the requirements.
Right.
So I would go ahead and venture the guess that he's the owner, because every time I go in there, he's there.
Okay. So he had an Esper deck also with Marie Curie Barrett as well.
The same French cunt as leader.
Yes.
The same leader you have.
Correct. And so he was doing a kind of... It was a very weird deck, like a kind of mill, but mill almost seemed like... Not playing B, but definitely not as prominent as my mill. His was more, he'd bring guys out and then, flicker them in and out to do certain effects or... Yeah,
use cloud shift and shit like that on his leader.
Yeah, cloud shift and other stuff.
And you play 4 creatures, so who gives a shit if he steals one?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't care about it.
But he ended up... We had some really, really good games because he ended up stealing... what's the O2 that mills with landfall?
Drawn Crab. Why do I always remember that and you can't remember that? You're the fucking mill player.
I have no idea.
That's just like $3 or $4 now.
Really?
It's just going up. Yeah.
Nice.
Going up.
So he ended up stealing that and milling me, and he also had the artifact or enchantment. Whenever a permanent he controls enters the battlefield, I mill one. So we had some pretty back and forth close games. But I ended up taking that down. What about you, Crow?
My second match, it was actually the guy who you played first round, It was his sister.
Okay.
She's real nice, and
you know what? They both went to GP Vegas.
Yeah, I was about to say that actually right now. They were actually in Vegas with you guys at the same time, and not obviously you guys didn't see them and didn't know them, but she was playing on her GP Vegas play mat and whatnot. So talk about that for a minute. She said she did okay. I think she had a better record than Hot Sauce at least.
Well, that's
I mean that's easy. We're going 2 fucking 3 in a GP. Come on.
But she was real nice, and unfortunately for her, like my Elves deck can be very, like, it's built to be so fucking explosive. So, like, removal shit is something that, can be interruptive to me. So if I play, like, enchantments, and a lot of Elves play, decks don't play, like, Steely Resolve, and ways that you can't target my Elves at all. So, against me, like, if you don't have removal, like, it's not gonna be good for you. And if you don't have removal, it's a good time.
No, it's totally true. It's exactly.
Like, if you don't have it at the right, if your deck has removal, you don't have it at the right time, like, you're fucked. Like, her deck being also the other version of a mono green deck, she had, like, no removal.
Who was her leader?
Her leader, what's the name? It's another mono green one. It's for 2 green and 1. It's an elemental. And green mana does not empty from your pool. And
it's a mythic from whatever that set that like looks like a star. It's like like a 4-pointed star. I don't know what set it's from, but either way, it's exactly what he said. It's just like an elemental that.
So its power and toughness are equal to the amount of mana in your mana pool.
Green mana does not dissipate from your mana pool.
Yeah. So was she doing a lot of like hydras and stuff?
Exactly.
Like that?
Her deck was a combo mixture of elves and hydras.
Okay.
Like she had several of the same elves I had, but then she had hydras because she had ways that she was dumping, like me dumping my mana into my Azuri, my leader, to pump everybody on the field and swing big. She was using her mana to pump out gigantic hydras.
Okay.
Unfortunately for her, she never got to that point because I was so much faster in my explosive elf deck that, like, you could tell her deck was good. It definitely could be worked on overall. But there was definitely a lot of good things going on. Like, we actually talked about it afterwards. I showed her some of the elves and some of the cards I was using. And I showed her Halls of Gemstone, which is a card I found, which is just vicious and tiny, which is, you guys are all playing like 3-color leaders or 2-color leaders, this and that. Halls of Gemstone says, at your upkeep, choose a color that is, for that turn, all lands tap for that color only. Yeah. So I'm playing a mono green deck, so I just go auto yield green, and then you guys are just fucked. And if I get it on the field, like, unless you have like erase to get rid of that enchantment, like, it's gonna be a very difficult game for you to win.
Pretty atrocious. Like, so bad so that I think they should ban it.
Fuck you.
And it's so bad, I think that card
is so fucking good.
Because a lot of the really good leaders are multicolored, or at least they have different.
Well, that's kind of like Commander style. Like, you want to be able to play your colors in generality. So I don't really think I've seen any other mono-colored ones besides Merfolk. And I plan on making a mono red Goblins one.
Right.
So I mean, there's really, it's for the most part, it's at minimum 2 colors. A lot of times there's extra 3 actually.
Yeah, a lot of 3.
So, like, I talked to her about that afterwards. Like, this is a great card. You need to buy this when you're playing other decks. So this is just great. Yeah. Like, I obviously sided that against her game 2. But it was just like, she didn't have the removal. Like, even though I had like Beast Within, I think she had that in her deck, but she didn't draw it at all. So like, when she got like something good happening, I just Beast Within her, and it was a very bad shellacking, because green on green, and in my deck, how quick and explosive it is, I was like, oh dear God. Like, she put that leader down, I was like, oh, I'm sorry for you. I was, we were just being nice and having a good game. So I wasn't being a dick and rubbing anything in. We were, talking afterwards about different strategies and different things that would be really good for her deck and stuff. So that went well. So my first 2, my first 2 matches I went 4-0. And so then they both like went like in 10, 15 minutes. So I was sitting around the shop for fucking forever. And on top of like the rounds, like the clock not being up, like the rounds were like very like slacked. I'm like, there wasn't a hard time, like this is the time. It was like, oh, you're on game 3, everybody's hanging out, just go ahead and finish your game. Like, let's not go to terms. It's like, which is fine, I guess, but for me, I was sitting around for so fucking long going, God damn it. And of course, wouldn't you know it, match 3 comes along, and ends up being me versus Knife.
Of course, because we were the only undefeated ones there. It only went three rounds.
Just 3 rounds. So the whole time we're like giggling to each other, like, like we're at a different table, like trying to say things like be cocky assholes out loud just to each other a little bit, playing with it, like, oh, of course we came in here to be fucking hustlers and shit like that, having a good laugh about it, having a good time. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know how other people build their decks or what play groups they have, but if you've listened to the cast, you know that we've been playing Tiny Leaders a lot ever since we heard about it. So for the past 5 months, however,
not long, maybe
4 months,
3-4 months or something.
Yeah, so we've just been like playing it constantly. So we have not necessarily a good grasp on the format, just because we only have certain decks that we're going up against. So we don't know the meta of the shop, and we don't know what other decks are out there. But we know our decks very, very well.
Yeah, and we know our meta. So between all the good and fun broken things we're doing, like we're seeing a legitimate variety of a solid, what could be a solid meta, but we don't know if that's the meta out there where we're playing at, but we're playing against quality decks with each other, so it's like...
And we're finding out what, like, all-star cards there are to be played in certain colors.
Yeah, just
like
if you have to have this.
Like if you're in this type of deck and you're playing these colors, you're definitely playing this, you know. If you're blue control, you're definitely playing Remand and Mana Leak and shit like that. So
I'm telling you right now, anybody out there wants to build an Elves deck, put Steely Resolve in there. Because most people don't know about that. It's not in a whole lot of Elf deck lists and in between Modern and this and that, or whatever, wherever. But Steely Resolve is enchantment for 1 on the green. You select creature type, which is always going to be Elves, and Elves then cannot be the targets of spells or abilities.
So basically they get Shroud.
Yes. So, but Azuri, though, his thing, the win condition, which you really are trying to do to get your leader out and then pump 5 green mana to pump him, which pumps everybody every elf you have, and gives everything +3/+3 in trample, which you can do multiple times. It's not a tap ability. That is a universal effect, so it is not. It goes through Shroud. So you just pump. You just sit there. They go, oh, I have removal, but I can't do anything unless I find enchantment removal beforehand, and then I can try to pick guys off. So you just sit there and go.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, your deck produces so much mana. Even if you cast your leader, I go to kill it in response. You can still pump. And it's a bad time.
And I think it's like Vines of Vastwood and Ranger's Guile.
Yeah.
To just like trick you into thinking you have me and then going, okay, or return a land to my hand, untap target creature, and now I have 1 more mana because I have like a Land War Elves. Play that 1 mana, play the Ranger's Guile, and go, oh, you're blown out.
Yep. But fortunately, I was able to take it down 2 games to 0. The first game, I don't really remember.
It was a close game. It was going long, which is better for your deck. As soon as it goes long with the leader, with the milling, like I know I'm more in trouble. So our decks match up pretty well. It kind of goes 50-50, it seems like, for like the amount of matches we play.
Right.
So like it was kind of like, coin toss at that point. So, but game 1's going long, and then while it's going long, we're still kind of like giddily talking and playing around. So I make a horrible mistake and allow him to end up steal. Yeah, exactly, fucker.
Okay,
this is why I'm salty, because I fucking beat myself.
Okay, what mistake? Because you fucked up real bad. What was the mistake?
I went ahead and was like, well, I don't know what to do this turn. I'm gonna set up for next turn, and I played my fucking leader right into his leader, which that French cunt is able to tap and steal target creature. Well, I didn't have the hexproof spell in hand, so I'm going to steal my leader, and they're being late game, like there went my win condition.
There's a Family Guy thing with, Mayor B from Family Guy, where, anyways, if anyone that watches Family Guy may know this, but it's a funny thing because at the end, the mayor, the bee, he's like talking about how he's mayor now and everyone gets free honey. And at the end he's like, oh, done stung myself. And I always say that when someone kills themselves in Magic. It's like, oh, done stung myself.
I remember that scene. That's hilarious.
When you seal your own fate, God damn it goes, done stung yourself. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And there was no way you could go back.
There just wasn't happening. And then you milled me at that point, so I was like, okay, yep, that just happened.
And then game 2, I mean, it was you got to a not super explosive start, but
no, it was a slow start for what I want to do.
But you were ahead of me from what I was doing. You had
for a very brief time though.
But you had 4 elves on the board. You were just starting to hit your stride and being able to produce a shitload of mana. And
that's what happened. Yeah.
And then he also had the
Sylvan Library.
No, you had the one that produced only 1 color of mana.
Oh, Halls of Gemstone?
Yeah, so you had Halls of Gemstone. I luckily top decked the enchantment removal. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, I top decked Drown in Sorrow.
Yeah.
And, so I pulled Drown in Sorrow, and even I was like, oh!
No, you did that, you didn't do you started giggling like a little fucking schoolgirl, like, God damn it, that can't be fucking good. And at this point, everybody knows this is like for the match, the game winning. So now people are like standing over us. I'm like, God damn, this piece of shit's gonna kick my ass in front of everybody right now.
Yeah, so Janisaw wiped his board, and then after that, you could not buy Elf on the Deck.
Yeah, because even still, you had like spot removal. I'm guessing at the very least.
Spot removal counters.
Yeah, if you hadn't found the enchantment for Halls of Gemstone, maybe I could have turned the corner. Actually, I probably could have, because you had been so slow only being able to use one color in a 3-color deck.
Right.
That I probably could have come back from that. But because you were able to remove that and then wipe my board, I was just done.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it. So you two owed me.
And so since they usually give the promo, the FNM promo, to first and second place, but since they did a draft and Tiny Leaders, they ended up just giving the promo to first place in the draft and first place in Tiny Leaders. So I was able... Yeah. So
how those ribs feel right now in about 10 seconds when you tell the rest of the story.
So I was able to get the Path to Exile promo, the foil Path to Exile promo.
FNM promo.
FNM promo.
Still goddamn fucking salty about.
It was great.
God damn it.
And also, rewind back to the Chaos Draft. I got past a foil Path to Exile from Modern Masters.
Which was like 4 people down. Like, that should have not made it to you.
No, so, it was...
It was 2 people down.
It was 2 people down.
Okay,
so
whatever.
the guy who opened the pack passed it, and then Adam...
My buddy Adam, who's just back in the
That's what I'm saying. Let me say that the 2 least experienced Magic players passed that card.
Yes.
And when it came to you, it was like, what?
Yeah.
Snap. Keep.
Like
I didn't even look at the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I know. I was like, holy crap, you passed this to me. You're like, yeah, but I got this. Like, I'm like, oh my god, okay, well I got a good card of it too. But the guy who opened the pack, Thomas, like apparently I still don't know what card he took, but apparently he got a mythic rare.
Yeah, there was some mythic.
Well, he got a good card, but it wasn't worth the what.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was like that path is worth like $12 or something.
Yeah, and then my buddy Adam, like he's getting back into Magic, so he knows some things. I don't think he knew how good that card was and how expensive it was because he was playing a white deck. So I don't know what he took, but I guarantee it wasn't better than the pack that he's got right there.
Yeah. So now I got 2 foil paths
in the same week.
Same week, and a regular one from buying it for Tiny Leaders. So yeah, that was nice being able to play my first FNM in over a year and taking it down. I feel super confident in playing Tiny Leaders, whereas if I were to be playing Standard or Draft or whatever, I still, think of myself in the, the top 25%, but not anywhere near. When I play online, I'm usually like second place. That's what I usually do.
Right.
So, but in Tiny Leaders, that kind of just boosted my confidence in having practiced the format a lot and knowing my deck inside and out.
I bet your dick grew like a half inch during that.
Yeah, it did. And, so yeah, that was, and also the shop, like, Crow said, is pushing the format, so they're trying to do it 2 times a month. So shout out to Comics and Stuff here in San Diego for pushing the format, trying something different, and, just giving it a shot. And they were just like super nice. And it's an awesome store, so go check it out.
Pretty sick.
Yep.
What do we got next?
Since Crow isn't here, let's move on to modern decks. Last week, Crow talked about his modern deck that he had built in response to your modern deck that you had built.
Yeah, when I was away in Utah, I ordered a modern deck online pretty much in full, damn near in full. The day before I left, and then during that, I was like, hey guys, you should probably buy a modern deck because I got, a shitty modern deck. Not like no one's looking for $800 into cards. I'm talking like spend $100, like get the ball rolling and see if you can build something. And, so Crow bit and then he bought something and then so I will explain now my modern deck.
Whip it out.
So, the deck I built is I don't want to say it's common because it's not common, but it's understood that like this is, once I mention this card, that the deck is as such. Like this is what the card does, and you build a modern deck around this card. Kind of like a Splinter Twin or something like that, where like you have a card or two that like creates a combo, and you just simply play that in the best way you can. So my modern deck is a Simic modern deck, blue and green, and it revolves around Biovisionary. So now everyone's probably rolling their eyes like, oh, I know that card. Oh, yeah. So it's 1 green and blue. So 3 mana for a 2/3 creature, human, wizard. At the beginning of the end step, if you control 4 or more creatures named Biovisionary, you win the game. So it's one of those rare cards that gets produced that, say, if you were drafting, the format, which is Gatecrash, you'd be like, okay, this is a garbage rare because it has no, application for draft. You have to literally build a deck around this one card and nothing else matters, So
it's a alternate win condition card.
Right, exactly. And when you draw like a mill style card, you're like, all right, this might be a little bit beneficial in draft because, getting 10 cards out of their library might take away their bomb and just might do something. But this card is like, no. It's a 2/3 for 3, which doesn't do anything else, So this card is meant for a constructed format only. And so that's what I did, is I play 4 of these cards along with a bunch of clone effects. Throughout Magic, especially in blue, there's been a lot of cards that create a token that is a copy of target creature. And so there are literally cards that are called clone, which clone is a 4 mana card, creature shapeshifter. Thank you. You're the best. Actually, I'll just put this right here because nobody cares. It's a creature shapeshifter. You may have clone enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. It's a 0/0, but because it's a copy of something else, it gets all the attributes, which means it gets to become a 2/3 or a 6/6 or whatever creature you're copying, including all the abilities. So I play 4 of those along with the 4 Biovisionary win condition. I play 1 Clever Impersonator, which is also 4 mana, but double blue instead of single blue for the mana cost. It's the same thing. It's a shapeshifter, but it copies any non-land permanent on the battlefield rather than creature. I play only 1 of these because of the double mana cost opposed to the single mana cost for 1 blue to 2 blue, so it's easier to cast, but also it's just more expensive of a card, and I'm not really looking to copy other permanents. It's just I'm only looking to copy creatures I control. Creatures I control. So I just put 1 in there just because maybe they have a planeswalker I want, and I'm in a certain situation of the game where I'm like, no. If I copy it, I can actually have a good advantage from it. Otherwise, I have Mimor Vig, Simic Visionary. It's 5 mana, Simic colors, 3 in green and blue. Legendary creature, Elf Wizard. When you play a green creature spell, you may search your library for a creature card, reveal it, and put it on top of your library. If you play a blue creature spell, you can reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it in your hand. What that means is that if I play a green card, I get a green creature, or I get a creature, put it on top of the library. If I play a blue spell, I get to draw that card. So if I play a green and blue creature in the same, out of the same card, which Biovisionary is blue-green, then I get to reveal that card and just simply draw it right off the top. So it allows me to tutor up the creature I need. And it's 5 mana, it's a 2/2, which is not relevant. The only thing that's relevant really is that it tutors and that it's an elf, which I will go on to that the elves is the other sub-theme of this deck to make it a secondary win condition. Moving on more to the regular win condition, Biovisionary, I got Progenitor Mimic, which is 6 mana, 4 and a green and a blue. Also a shapeshifter. It enters the battlefield as a copy of target creature, except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep. If this creature isn't a token, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of this creature. So that means it's kind of complicated text, but basically when you play this guy, it becomes a copy of target creature, and then on every upkeep, you make another copy of that creature. All the other copies of this creature do not also make a copy, so you're not going from 2 creatures to 4 creatures to 8 creatures. You're just getting an additional one from the primary mimic. So that's what that is. And so if you play 1 Biovisionary in this guy, then you have 2 Bio-Vs, and then you have 2 more, your opponent has 2 more turns, because every upkeep you make another dude. Once you have the 4, then you win. So that's the main part of it. Otherwise, I have creatures like, Coiling Oracle, which is it's an elf. creature that's a 1/1, enters the battlefield, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So it's a 1/1 for 2 that draws you a card with a bonus of putting a land in the battlefield untapped. So that's like pretty relevant, I think. It's a 1 blue, 1 green for mana cost. Otherwise, I have the 3 mana 2/2, the Elfish Archdruid. It's an elf druid. Other elf creatures you control get +1/+1, and then you can tap it and create 1 forest, 1 green mana for each elf you control. So, because most things that are not clone things, what are not clones, they're elves. So that means I get to generate a ton of mana to get to the more expensive stuff like Mimorvig and Progenitor, Mimic, and I also have some other stuff that's kind of expensive. So that's basically one more. Master Biomancer, my favorite card in Magic. I cannot believe I even forgot this fucking thing.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare I? It's 4 mana for a 2/4. It's an elf wizard, so it's an elf. It's a creature that's not legendary, which is the best part, basically. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of additional 1/1 counters on it equal to this guy's power, and as a mutant in addition to other types. I don't care about that. But either way, it's a 2/4, so every creature that comes in after this guy gets 2 1/1 counters for start. And so your little Elfish Mystics become a 3/3, and your whatever clone of Biovisionary becomes a 4/5. So this army becomes like this huge beat-down army. And besides that, it's not legendary, so you get to play a second one. When the second one comes out, it comes into the battlefield as a 4/6. Whenever you play something after that, it triggers off the first and second one, which means you're adding 2 counters and 4 counters, so your Elfish Mystic becomes a 7/7. Right off the bat, with the 2 of them. And you have 4 of them in the deck, so if you had, I'm guessing 2 is a pretty normal number for every couple games, but otherwise, I mean, like, if things get out of hand and the games goes long, then you could have something that comes in with, 12 counters on it, just as being a standard creature. So that's my other win condition, is playing elves, getting a whole bunch of counters, and making sure they make a whole bunch of mana for my other stuff. Besides that, I have an enchantment called Infinite Reflection. It's a 6 mana enchantment, which is insanely high, but that's why I play a bunch of elf creatures so I can get ramp out of them. When this enchantment aura enters the battlefield attached to a creature, each other non-token creature you control becomes a copy of that creature. Non-token creatures you control enter the battlefield as a copy of that creature. So basically, I have 3 of these, and if I play it and it hits Biovisionary, I'm assuming I have 3 other creatures on the battlefield because of the ramp needed to even get to this card. That means I win on the spot. Basically, if my hand step, I win on the spot. So you play this, hit BioV or one of the clone creatures, and boom, you just win on the spot. So having a card that you play and just wins, that sounds fantastic. There's been a couple of games we played today against Samhain Crow where he was playing his Waste Not Storm deck that he mentioned last week, and he's going off. And during the process, he's able to play Gataxian Probe, and he sees my hand, so he sees the Infinite Reflection, and he goes like, all right, so now I know that on the next turn, because I don't have counters, you have 6 mana, you're able to play this card, which means you win. So like I have to. Now my game plan changes to make sure I win this turn. So it's a card if you get, if you thought seize or something like that, and you reveal the opponent's hand, and you see this card plus 6 mana, you understand that, okay, I'm going to lose right away if I do not have an answer or win on this turn. So it's a cool card in that way that makes sure that like, oh, guess what? I win. Ta-da. No frills. Just I win. The last card I can really talk about is Primal Surge. I have one of these. It's a 10 mana spell, which I don't know if I'm going to keep it in, but I wanted to play it because it sounded like a lot of fun. It's 10 mana, 8 and 2 green for a sorcery. It's a mythic from like Avacyn Restored or something like that. Exile the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you do, repeat this process. Well, everything in this deck except for 3 spells is a permanent. So I get to just go ahead and move through my deck, putting everything onto the battlefield. And because I have so many clone effects and the Biovisionaries, I'm able to just win with this card. I mean, the chances of me not winning is, 3 out of 60 cards. So I know it's there where I might not win, but realistically, I think that more times than not, once I play this, I start, revealing the top card of my library, and I end up getting, 2 Biovisionaries and 2 clone spells, and that's the end of the game. It's as simple as that. So this card is only there because if I can generate 10 mana, I win. So there's a lot of these cards that are just like, I don't care what you do. If I do this, if this spell lands, I win. And so that's basically what the deck is. So I don't know if this sounds fun to you, but it's a deck that was cheap. It was probably $120 after everything. That includes like half of that cost being lands, the shock lands from Ravnica and Gatecrash.
Breeding Pool.
Breeding Pool, yeah, exactly. And then the Hinterland Harbor, which was from like M13 or something like that. The Buddy Lands.
That's on Innistrad as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hinterland
Harbor. That's where I pulled it from.
Innistrad, yeah.
Innistrad.
So yeah.
I don't know if it's an M13 as well.
So I'm not.
So yeah, Innistrad, you're absolutely right.
I'm not sure if you mentioned the name of the deck.
Well, I don't need to, come on.
No, that's a pretty sick name.
I'm not 13 years old.
Yes, you knew the name of your deck.
All right. It's some Bio-V up your B, dude. Bio-V up yo B.
Up yo B.
Because you're not ready for it, dude. You're going to be sitting there and then surprise rape. Basically what the deck does. So, Modern has a lot of shit going on with, like strong, powerful, low-costed interaction like Liliana and Tarmogoyf and Spectral Procession and like all these like 2 or 3 mana spells that like create a ton of value and they're hard to deal with and it's just awesome. This one is like similar, but it doesn't have a value as far as like, controlling the other player and beatdown and just like these other things that normal decks play. Like if you've seen in like Standard and stuff, like Abzan has like a control of the board. It has big creatures along with like control and all this shit. This deck is more like the Storm deck and more like the Splinter Twin deck where they have like minor interaction, but mostly it's just like, let me get to my win condition and then we'll win. Like Amulet Bloom's another one of those kind of cards.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We're both playing, like I'm going off for like 5-10 minutes on my turn, just playing. Don't get my storm count going up, and if I have to pass it back to you, I know you're going to win, but I have to really get the storm count up. But it's like we're not really like you've swung at me a few times. The L's like okay, well, I guess that's the first game, but
the first 2 games we played, which was at your barbecue, I won because of beatdown, but it was just because you weren't getting the cards you wanted.
Yeah,
it wasn't because of anything else. It wasn't like I had some massive surge of power come on board. It was just like it was turn 6, and you're like, all right. You know what? Turn 6, I didn't get stormed. That means I just probably not going to win. So
yeah, and on top of that, though, like at that point, I didn't have my cards in. I just had proxy, and this is a very like you have to have a game plan on what's going on. You can't just pick it up and go. I know this exactly. Like you have to see the interaction. So now tonight we played one match when I actually had the real cards in from the mail.
Yeah, you totally won for game one.
I won 2-1 in our match. But it was just kind of it was, I'm still like having to go through each little thing. Don't forget to, tap the storm counter up and have my mana floating and this and that and all kinds of shit going on. It's a very, like, mentally intensive deck. And so, like, your deck, again, though, same kind of thing where it's really, you still have the ability to attack, but it's more of a solitaire matchup.
Yeah,
I waste on get zombies, but I really don't. Like that same turn, getting the zombies, I'm still trying to go off and beat you with my.
I agree that like it's solitaire in the way that like I don't interact with you very much. Like I only have 2 ways to like counter. I have like I guess 1 creature to counter a spell, 2 Simic Charms which do like protection on my permanents, or bounce a guy back to your hand, and then I also have 1 Citizen Tactics, which is a way for me to like pump all my guys, tap them, and do like fight mechanic, Mm-hmm. So I have like 4 things that can actually interact with another deck. Otherwise, like it is my own thing. But I will say that in the solitaire way of playing with myself only, which I love playing myself, is my turns are very quick because I only just play something and then move on. Where other decks like Storm and things like that, they require you drawing cards, milling yourself, like. Tons of interaction. Mine is like, I'm not interacting with you, but I'm still like a very fast turn. Like this deck, if you're playing Moto, it would be 4 minutes a game. win or lose. Like, it would just be quick no matter what, because I'm not doing multiple spells per turn. I'm just playing something, hope it sticks. If it does, I win. If it doesn't, I lose. That's what the game is, pretty much. So, kind of like Splinter Twin. Splinter Twin doesn't take a lot of time playing either. Splinter Twin is like, they have their counters or whatever, but really they're just waiting on their opponent to see what they do, and then they, figure out the game from there, so. Storm takes Storm takes way long.
Yeah. Oh, well, I wasn't comparing that point.
Yeah.
My turns are stupid.
But either way.
I'm trying to play 20 spells a turn.
Yeah.
When I go
and
off.
Amulet Bloom's that way. Amulet Bloom was on SCG, the Open Series or whatever, say 3 or 4 months ago. And, it just takes a long time because you have to be an expert at your own deck. Without interacting with your opponent, you're just basically waiting for your turn, playing whatever you can play, milling yourself, looking through your deck, tapping, untapping lands, finding the win condition and doing the damage. But it's difficult to interact with anyone else. You're just playing with yourself, so.
And we can go to Friday Night Magic Modern style now.
We actually can.
Yes, we can.
The deck I built, even though it's cheap and it's not tier 1, it still is built competitively, in a sense that it can actually be played not just at a kitchen table, it is a deck. It's a real deck. It's not great, but it's a real deck, though. So, anyways.
Well, let's move on to jerseys.
Whose?
Let's move on.
Really quick. Tapped.net at TEH Hot Sauce, Tay Hot Sauce. That's where my decks are at. You'll see this one. Same thing with, this is Knife City, right?
Yep,
Knife _ City or no?
Nope, just Knife City.
Just Knife City for your decks.
I'm under Samhain Crow on
Samhain Crow for him too. SAMHAIN Crow, for his. So we always talk about decks, almost every podcast. Make sure you guys know that if you want to see something, those are where you're going to find
that. That is a good point. We don't really put the information out enough for it to go very serious.
Yeah, I'll have to throw it up in the show notes. Most of the time, I use Tapped Out as not really where my good decks are. It's more of I have an idea. I'm going to throw it up on Tapped Out so I can see the mana cost, the curve, and how everything's splayed out. Mm-hmm. But most of my...
It's a good tool for that.
Most of my competitive decks that I talk about are up there.
See, I always say that I put every deck I have on Tapped Out.
Okay.
Simple as that. First of all, it's easy to rather than laying the cards out on a table, it's easier for me to look at it online.
Right.
All sprout out on the same page and just go ahead and click plus or minus on how many cards I want of each thing. So it's easier for me to build a competitive deck. And simply, it's better for other people to check out what I'm building. So.
Right. I just put a Simic Evolve deck for Tiny Leaders.
You see I posted against that?
No, I didn't see it. I put it up there.
Did you downvote it?
No, I uploaded it. And I just said, Simic for Life Dog or something like that.
So I put it up there not because I actually have the cards. I just wanted to see the information and see
see it in front of your face.
Yeah, see it in front of my face and look at the curve and there's not enough 1-drops or too many creatures, not enough creatures. How easy is it going to be to get to the win condition? Look at some sample hands and stuff like that. But I am interested in building that deck.
Tiny Leaders, right?
Tiny Leaders Evolve deck.
Simic for Life.
And it's Evolve but counters.
Yeah.
Mostly counters. So go ahead, Crow, and talk about your pre-release happenings.
So after our Friday Night Magic adventure, which was a good time, like I said, around 10:30 that ended. So I went and got a little food, then headed down to San Diego Games and Comics.
Continue on.
I'm just seeing a hand wave in my face. So I went down to San Diego Games and Comics for the midnight pre-release for Origins, which I personally, it's hilarious that this is 3 times in a row that my wife has been house sitting for her aunt on the weekend a pre-release happens, which has just been fucking amazing for me, because then I have nobody nagging me, telling me that I can't go, or why aren't you home to help out, or this and that. But then it's been great, because I love Sealed Limited. I love playing it. And I really enjoy playing the new cards in Sealed style like this. So I got to go down to the midnight release, where I decided to go with Chandra for the evening. My pre-release promo is the Scab Clan Berserker, which I'm not a big fan of this card. I was not happy opening it.
What's the card again?
It's the haste dude, right?
Yeah. We'll check out the beaver claws. So it's 2 red and 1. It's a 2/2 with haste and renown 1. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, if Scab Clan Berserker is renowned, Scab Clan Berserker deals 2 damage to that player.
Okay.
It's not a horrible card, But I even said when we were reviewing him that, Hot Sauce is up on this card. He likes it. I personally don't give a shit about it. Like, yeah, I understand that, the Eidolon style where, if it is renowned, like they burn themselves for 2 and this and that. I just don't think it's great. It's just not. Human Berserker doesn't fit into things you really want it to fit into. I just don't like it very much. So I wasn't happy pulling it. But, it did okay for me, but it was not a great late game pull. It did well for me one game. All the other games where hopefully I didn't see it, or when I did see it, I didn't like drawing it.
Okay.
So, for me though, I ended up going 4-0 in this tournament, and winning it overall. So, there was other, 2 other people, one other person at 4-0, maybe 2. So I don't know if I was first or what tiebreakers were, but essentially I won the fucking Friday Night Magic with it, or the pre-release for it.
Right.
So that was pretty sweet. Part of the reason that happened was I got lucky enough to, in my sealed pool, and the new orders you haven't heard, in the sealed version, you get 6 packs plus a seeded pack this time.
And it's only 7 cards in the seeded pack, correct?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds right. So 5 out of my 6 rares pulled in packs were green.
Nice.
This deck is building itself. Let me see here. So my rares I pulled that I played were Dwin, Giltleaf, Den, the Elf Warrior, 2 green and 2, 3/4 with reach. Other elf creatures I control get +1/+1. And whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking elf you control. I would have liked to open up more elves to add to the elf factor here, but I only pulled one other playable elf, and that was Elvish Visionary, which I played.
Okay.
Which, that's fine.
Yeah.
The other rares I got were Managorgia Hydra, which was just fantastic. I mean, this if you haven't played Limited in this yet, while there obviously is a lot of removal, like White has Celestial Flare and that pacifism for 4, and there is removal, like there always is, but personally, from what I've seen and played against and what I've drawn and opened, I feel like this limited format is actually pretty removal light. Considering that 2 of the removal on red are rares.
Okay.
This is a decently removal light format. So, not once did my Managorgia Hydra, I only actually pulled this 3 games. And not in any of the games was anybody able to kill it when it was, a 1-1 or a 2-2 or a 3-3. It got up to, 8-8 before winning the game and it never died.
Nice.
Unfortunately, one of the games, I had this guy in the ropes. I alpha swung with him and 2 other creatures and got him down to 1 life, and he had no way of getting me on the payback because he only had say, I don't know, 12 life, and he had a 2/2 and 2 or 3 1/1 Thoppers, and that was it. And I'm and I know this guy, he's not going to have that much burn to get me right now. He's done 2 cards in hand. Well, one of the cards he did have, though, was a act of treason on my Managorgia Hydra, which made it an 8/8, and he swung for game. I was like, you son of a bitch. That was amazing, and I hate you and love you for it at the same time, because, my God, I didn't think there was any chance of losing that fucking game.
Nice.
So that was man, that was cool, good for you, but fuck you. I also pulled Honored Hierarch, and I was down on this card as well, and I am correct. It is bad. It is the worst card you can pull late game. I will say that a little backtrack when you're opening, you're making your sealed pool, and you're cracking the sealed for pre-release. You're sitting next to a random person, whatever. So I'm sitting next to this lady, and we're both building our decks. I'm building mine, she's building hers. I'm giving my thoughts, and she's asking a question here and there, what I think she should do with her deck. And she didn't agree with what her boyfriend was telling her, so she's asking me. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't agree with him either. You should do this. So it was, to go from there was 100 people as pre-release, so the chances of me playing her are slim.
Yeah.
But of course, match 1, I play her. So we're both well, I guess we both know what we're trying to do, trying to get to the late game and go big and blah blah blah. I was well, okay. But I will say, even though Honored Hierarch is a shit card any other time than playing at turn 1, which is hard to do in Limited, I will say the first 2 games against her, turn 1 Honored Hierarch, and then turn 2 Goblin Glory Hole Chaser, and it was just vicious. That was just fantastic.
Nice.
And I just, ran through her real quick, and it was great. One other game that happened again, those 3 games, Honored Hierarch was great, except for the third game was against this other guy, and he burned it off right away. It was just to try to screw with my mana after I renowned it. So, but any other time you get it, it's fucking horrible. I mean, to have to renown it to get to the freaking little tap for mana, it's a shit fucking
It's a 1/1 for 1. That's it.
But I'd rather play Elvish Mystic at that point where I'm
You're right,
guaranteed
because
mana.
it's guaranteed, yes.
So, I had that, and then the other two green rares I had were 2 Outland Colossus. The 6/6 for 2 green and 3, so for 5, with Renown 6. Outland Colossus can't be blocked by more than one creature. Like, people talk shit about this card, but, like, for limited, fucking
Oh my god, like, okay, if anyone talks shit about this card for limited, they're a fucking idiot. Like, outright idiot. Because the 6/6 for 5 is a big fucking creature. A creature that cannot be blocked by more than one creature means that you have to trade with this creature to block it. Like, no, you don't have your own 7/7. Nobody has that in fucking limited. And the last thing is that it becomes a 12/12 when it hits, unless you want to chump block it.
Which it always gets chump block, but for me, in my deck, one of the greatest pulls going on with my huge monsters deck was Rogue's Passage. Just a finisher. Oh my god.
The land makes you pay 5 mana, 4 mana plus itself.
Yeah.
And then you make target creature unblockable. Oh my god, I have a 12/12 unblockable. What a bad fucking draft rare.
So from there, I will say 2 other amazing fucking all-stars in green, and if you see them, draft them. One's a common, one's uncommon. The common is Rock's Maulers. It is 4/4 for 5, 1 green and 4. Has Trample and Renown 2. This card is fucking good as shit.
Well, it's a trample 4/4 for starts.
Yeah. And then
like,
Renown's becomes
what
a
is-
6/6.
What are they going to do about a 4/4 with trample? There's not a whole
I'm
lot.
gonna block with my 1/1 Thopter.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a 6/6 coming at you again next turn.
You know, that's
what happened every time.
That's a good point you make, though, because people are playing Thopter
nonstop.
sub-themes, which is like, I would probably play that too.
Oh, it's
But
very good.
When you face a green deck, you're like, oh, yeah, I guess I don't have anything to block this shit.
Well, as long as the green things have trample, because you
Right,
know if
right.
they don't have trample, then the Thopters kind of fucking win.
Yeah,
They're just like,
but then I have Rogue's Passage and say fuck you.
yeah, exactly.
You're right, though, because if you have 3 Thopters, and you want to chump 1 per turn, that means you hit them for 2 while they hit you for 0.
Yeah.
So, like, that makes sense as far as no trample. But then when they have trample, which green does very well, then you're like, well, I guess I'm just done.
Yeah.
The other amazing fucking card, if you can get it uncommon for green, is for 2 green and 4. It's a 6/6 Vigilance Reach Sky Snare Spider. Vigilance and Reach 6/6 is just stupid in this fucking format.
For how much mana?
For 6 mana.
Wow.
It is
So, yeah,
fucking,
it's
it is
uncommon.
delicious. It is stupid.
It's
So,
delicious.
No, when I saw that,
Like,
I mean,
fuck, dude.
it's not quite rare quality. I admit that, like, uncommon's a good fit for it.
Yeah,
But
that's
seeing
fine.
that, I was like,
It's
fucking Christ, like,
Yeah.
this thing is Vigilance and a 6 power creature. Like, when do you see a Vigilance 6 anything? You know, like, Vigilance is meant for low power creatures. That's like what White does with Vigilance, is they give you 2 2s or 2 4s, or like even like 1 6s with Vigilance. You know, like, things that can like ping ya, but make sure they're a really good defender. This is like, yeah, am I a defender? I don't know. I have the 6 power along with the 6 butt, so like, I just do it all for you.
Well, usually, so like, green doesn't get vigilance all that often. You know, it's like the secondary color for vigilance.
Like I said, there's a lot of like 2 4s in
Right.
green with Vigilance, and that's what you get.
And also a spider. Spiders are usually, they have reach. You know, it's the answer to the flyers. So they're like 1 3s or 2 4s or 3 4s.
some have Death Touch.
Yeah, so it's usually not all that great. But a 6/6 for 6 in green, it's a spider, so it has reach, and it has vigilance. Like, that's a pretty good fucking win condition if
And
you ask
renown.
me.
Oh,
And
no, that's the other one.
No, it doesn't have
Never mind.
But still,
There's actually another card, I think it's a common. It's a spider. It's a, I want to say it's a 2/4 for 3, or 1/4 maybe, with Reach for Spider. That is a great card in this format. All the Thopters running around, you just sit there with this big booty and go, pick,
yeah.
done.
I'm sure
Yeah,
if,
huge deal.
I didn't have that in this deck, I didn't draw
I think
any.
you're right. I think
But
it's
I
one,
drawed some the next day.
1 4 for 3. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
that
you're
sounds right. It's really good.
I'm pretty sure if I still listened to limited resources, they would give that 6/6 an A. Or at least an A-.
Right.
Because you play that and it's like, well, I'm not getting through.
It's kind of like,
If you want to go ahead and block me, that's fine. You're going to block like 4 creatures. I'm going to wipe your fucking board.
Yeah.
And I'll trade them. That's fine. I got another big bomb to play right after it. You know?
it reminds me of that 2/5 snake in Dragons with Death Touch,
Ukin
where it's like,
Cobra.
it's a 5 booty with Death Touch. You're like, well, then you just have the block.
I better have bros.
Yeah, you just cannot take care of this thing. You know, it's just one of those creatures you can play that just stops everything. And then, you know, that more reference to the 1/4 with Reach, but either way, like, we're talking about the 6/6 with Reach, now you have best of both worlds. You have a huge attacker, and you don't have to think about attacking. All you have to think about is like, is there a creature bigger than this thing? Do they have 3 creatures that can triple block and kill it? I mean, if so, I guess...
You know, that's still fine.
It's still kind of fine.
Yeah, 3 for 1, I'll take it.
It made it where if I was to go and draft into into Magic Origins, which I did not because I was not here, that my choice for the packs was green. I was going to go green. My decision was already made up pre me going to Utah. It was going to be green. Mm-hmm. I'm not even like the biggest green player. I do like green. I started off on green and blue, but like I just felt like, it's not like my favorite to play, but like this is undoubtedly just a huge, monster of limited.
So other than that, I played 2 Goblin Glory Hole Chasers and a Crow and Sergeant, which first strike with Renown 1 for 3. It's a good common.
2/2
it's
with
quality.
Renown.
2/2 with Renown.
First strike, yeah, that's great.
A Gurapir Gear Crafter. Enters the field, put a 1/1 Thopter with it. The Thopter Engineer is the 1/3, puts a colorless Thopter on the field as well, and then it gives all artifacts haste.
So you went
green-red.
Green-red.
This card was okay. It did some work as, all defensive really. For Pharika's Disciple, for a green and 3, it's a 2/3 Death Touch with Renown 1. I was okay with it. It wasn't by any means a star, but it was definitely good for defense.
It's a 4-mana removal spell at the least.
So I was able to, that was like another zone for me to continue to get more mana to get my big creature.
Creatures with Death Touch, or like creatures with flying and limited, they do something no matter what. Mm-hmm. Evasion is huge, so you should play evasion no matter how high the cost. Even like a 3/3 flyer for 6, yeah, that's not great, but it's still 3 damage you're going to be able to get in because it's a flyer. So it's still playable. It's not, you're not going to fucking, write home about it, but it's a playable card. Same thing with basically any creature with Death Touch. You're going to be able to be like, alright, or creatures that give other creatures Death Touch, this is it's a big deal,
And also, I haven't looked at all the commons and uncommons, so I don't really know if it is removal light, but you say it's kind of removal light, so that puts...
It felt like it for sure.
Yeah, it makes you right.
That puts a lot more weight behind creatures with Death Touch.
Mm-hmm. You're right, totally right.
So
especially with those big ass green creatures coming about. Mirror match, you know what I mean? You're like, alright, you have a big ass green creature, thank God I have this fucking Death Touch, dude,
Yeah.
It'll make it so much easier for you not to swing in with a 12/12.
Yeah.
So I played this card really almost entirely just because I needed another low drop. But it's not a bad card. Subterranean Scout. For a red and 1, it's a 2/1. When this creature enters the battlefield, a target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. I really, with this deck being a lot of big shit mostly, I used it mostly as just a low drop, 2-mana curve low drop for me.
Right. That's fine though. It's a 2/1 for 2, which is fine. I mean, really in red, that's totally fine. But the idea that it can almost act as a burn spell, making something unblockable,
that was the thing it
did.
did.
You get to just get extra 2 points of damage in and have a 2/1. Once again, things like that are always playable. It's so playable.
Well, that's the other thing is I'm playing a sub-theme in this deck as well of Renowned creatures. And Glory Hole Chasers, the Noble Hierarchs, Valerian Wardens, there's certain, there's a decent amount of them where okay, well now I gotta go Renown them. So that was pretty sweet. So like I said, I had the sub-theme of Renown, I had 10 creatures with Renown. And this chick is just fucking great if you're playing a sub-theme Renown to your deck, or Renown as being your theme. Valerian Wardens. For a green and 2, it's a 1/3 with Renown 2. Whenever a creature you control becomes renowned, draw a card.
Done.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Done.
So fucking good for this Renown running around. Going into this set, I didn't think Renown was going to be all that great. After playing that first limited, that midnight release, I was like, fucking A, Renown actually is a thing in limited.
Nice.
It was very good.
And is that spread across all colors, or is it just mostly based in green and red?
No, it's green and red.
Okay.
Well,
no, white is also too.
And white. Just black and blue kind of got the shaft.
Right. And they might even still have one, but I really doubt they do.
Yeah, one or 2 or something.
This kind of reminds me also of Outlast. I mean, obviously because of counters.
Right.
But in the same way that Outlast, where you're like, alright.
You need to tap it down to do it.
You're going to tap it down to do it. I mean, is this playable? Can you play a card even in limited that you have to waste your turn putting a counter? Come to find out, that's totally playable. For some reason...
I still feel like the Renown's better than the Outlast.
Either way, Outlast was super playable. Who got first place in the pre-releases was fucking Outlast Abzan decks back in the, in Cons of Tarkir days. Like Outlast was magnificent in draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those just like stalemates, seeing like I have no profitable attacks, you know, like you have creatures the same size as I do. We're just gonna hang back and play a bunch of shit. You have like 2 or 3 creatures, and then boom, you just go ahead and like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna save 2 back for blocking, and then I'm gonna go ahead and Outlast 1, make this 1 really big. No one's playing removal right now. Outlast will win. Simple as that. I mean, like I lost to Outlast for sure, and I played Outlast during that time too. I still lost to the mirror match.
So the one card that I would say I like the least in this deck, and it's still not a bad card per se, but I didn't do a whole lot of sideboarding because the deck was just so good. But when I did side like one card in, this is the card I took out. It's Prickle Boar. For red and 4, it's a 3/3. As long as it's your turn, Prickle Boar gets +2/+0 and has first strike. Not a horrible card, but it's not all that great either.
In my mind, I find that card to be damn near amazing. But I didn't play. But in my mind, I feel that is an incredible card to have a 5/3 with first strike. I think that would be like...
It was okay.
On attacks, I feel like it's unstoppable, but I also didn't play. In my opinion, just looking at the card, I felt that was like one of the strongest cards of the entire set. Like, my top 15... you know, or whatever, out of all the commons and uncommons, out of all the cards. That's what I would feel. But I didn't play. I just feel like a 5-power first strike is just not available most times. And to get first strike for anything more than a 3/3 or something like that requires a ton of mana or something other than...
Or like an activated ability.
Something like that. So I feel like it is really strong. I can see if you played it and you did
it was okay.
Maybe it didn't do enough, you know, fair enough. But like I said...
I guess my other big creature was just so much better. Maybe it outshadowed it because of that. And I didn't draw that much. But it was, like I said, it's okay. It didn't do as much.
A lot, or what was bad?
Well, of course, you got to throw something in front of it. Exactly. It wasn't that it was that bad. It was just I would have rather seen my spider or my whatever else besides that at that point.
You'd rather have vigilance or trample over the first strike, maybe.
That's what my deck was doing. So it's not a bad card. It was okay. So I played on my 23 playables, only 5 of which were not creatures. Nice. And so, like, for me, that's more creatures than I would typically do personally.
No, but that's what people don't get, and including us. That we play, we love playing a lot of non-creature spells. When it comes down to limited, you should probably just be playing more creatures.
I made that comment to the guys I was sitting next to. The lady and her boyfriend I was sitting next to, like so many creatures. And like, that's what you want to do in limited. I'm like, yeah. But it's for me, like, I'd rather have, like, 2 more non-creature spells, like 2 more removal spells.
Like 13, I've done work in certain decks with, like, 13 creatures, or, like, 12 creatures.
Yeah.
But that's, like, super low. You need to be playing, like, 15,
I feel that we always make the mistake when we're drafting, when you see, like, really sweet pump spells and certain kind of removal spells, or, like, not the best removal spells, but it is removal, and you're like, alright, I'm gonna draft this. And then you go into, like, your pack 3, and then you go... oh shit, I only got 12 creatures. That's not enough.
Then you start picking any fucking creature.
And so I feel like creatures are just like more important a lot of times. So that's just what I feel about it. Like creatures are just important, you know what I mean?
So my 5 non-creature spells, which this card, like if I could have had 4 in this deck, I would have fucking played 4. Might of the Masses for 1 green. Because playing fucking 23 creatures, there are a lot of creatures on the board. So for 1 green, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. That was a game winner for me, like several times. Like it was just so good. And then like if they drop some giant bomb, then I'm like, fuck, I don't really have to way to deal with that right now. Well, okay, you have your own Vigilant Spider now? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and attack with this 2/2 and my other ones to get through here.
Yeah.
Like it happened one time where like she had to choose between blocking my 4/4 Trampler or like 2 other like smaller ones, this or that, and whatever the reason it was, she ended up choosing my 2-power creature. I'm like, she's like, I'm sure you got that fucking card. I played the game 1 too and beat with it. You gotta have it again, right? I'm like, oh, try him out. Bam! There goes your spider. Now I have a 6/6 Trampler. Like it was just bad.
Nice.
And then this card, which I was just so stoked in the spoilers for, and let me tell you, it was fantastic to play with. The uncommon for 1 red, Magmatic Insight. As an additional cost to cast Magnetic Insight, discard a land card from your hand, draw 2 cards. Great. Just absolutely great. You can have that early game, and just hold on to it. So when it gets late game, you're low on cards and this and that. You pull that late game, you're like, that's fucking great. 'Cause you know you're gonna pull a land soon. It was just so good. It did so much work for me.
Nice.
I also played Lightning Javelin for red and 3. Lightning Javelin does 3 damage to our creature or player and scry 1. I barely drew it. I think I drew it like twice, but it did work for me when I drew it. Fiery Conclusion for a red and 1. As an additional cost to cast this card, sacrifice a creature. Fiery Conclusion deals 5 damage to target creature. Again, not the best, but I didn't have like barely any removal, and I wanted, it worked for me when I played it.
Yeah, to get rid of your early drops that are no longer relevant.
Yeah, my Noble Hierarch that was just shit.
Yeah.
And then my last card that was playable was Wild Instincts for red and for a green and 3. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn and fights target creature and opponent controls. Got a lot of big dudes, so there's a lot of blowout there. And then Rogue's Passage was just an all-star as well.
Nice.
And that was my 4-0 winning deck.
No, I gotta say, looking over the deck, how can you go wrong with green?
Big creatures and the sub-theme of a 10
the
renown.
The green shit for like the really big finisher stuff, and the red shit for like the 2/2s with first strike and just like fast, aggressive, like, what are you gonna do type stuff, what, are you gonna block? Are you gonna trade with my creature? Like, this shit is coming at you. What are you gonna do about it? That's what the red, I feel like it is. And then the green is just like, the big stuff is what, not like, what are you gonna do? It's gonna be more like, can you deal with? You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like, what choice do you make? Because red is all about like, the small stuff. Do I want to block? Do I want to not block? Do I want to just like, tempo? Do I want to accept the 2 damage? And green is like, oh shit, this is gigantic. Do I have an answer? Like, does he just win by playing this one card? I'm at 18 life and I'm still feeling like this 6/6 with vigilance is going to just win. Like, I don't fucking know. So that's what you build a perfect deck in that way.
That was great. Just that renown under theme, the big creatures over theme was just fantastic, man. It was great.
They'd be sucking your dick, son.
The one card I pulled that didn't play for rare was Gideon's Phalanx. For 2 white and 5, put 4 2/2 white knight creature tokens with vigilance on the battlefield. With spell mastery, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn.
Yeah, so spell mastery is that same thing where like, if you have 2 or more instants of sorceries in your graveyard, then you can have spell mastery.
So, which for limited is kind of rough to get off spell mastery, just because of being very creature heavy.
Yeah, constructed is very easy, but either way.
But that being a 7-mana card, at that point, if you don't have it, well...
Yeah, that would be kind of weird. But is that even... Do you think that card's playable and limited?
No.
No? If I was playing white, I would have played it.
It's 3, 4...
What?
4 2/2s?
4 2/2s with vigilance.
4 2/2s with vigilance for 7?
7 mana.
I'm not saying it's great, but I would have played it if I was playing white.
I don't know.
Then they also gain, how about this? Before, they don't gain haste, obviously, but when you play it, the creatures you do control gain indestructible.
I don't know. It reminds me.
And it's an instant, so you can just go ahead and attack everything.
It reminds me of that one card that made centaurs in Born of the Gods or Journey into Nyx.
Read. I know that one with the satyrs or whatever. The 4 2/2 satyrs with haste.
Oh, okay.
Very similar card, but for 1 less mana. I think this is more powerful than that card. That card wasn't
that 2 green, 2 red, and 2 colorless?
Yeah, 4 colorless, yeah.
4 colorless?
8 is 8 mana.
Oh, Jesus.
So, that card is not good at all. Even limited, I think I actually drafted it like limited, and I didn't play it. But this one, I do agree that how about this? I don't agree with any of you guys. I think it's right in the middle. I'm saying that I would play it, but I would not like it.
Yeah,
I'm not
saying I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's playable, but at the same time, I don't want to pass up on the opportunity to have a bomb. If I was playing green and white, and I had 3 other 6 mana spells that made more sense, like that, that spider, it's not getting played. If I didn't really have any high mana cards that made sense, for sure I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Do I think it's a good card? I think it is literally less than a penny. I would rather play like any other card.
Well, just like that when you're talking about from the Born of the Gods, it's a shit card.
It's a shit card. But, what are you going to do? So
I ended up me and the last guy I played, before we played the match out, but before playing the match, we agreed on splitting. Just because it's either like the winner gets 12 packs and the loser gets, at that point,
By the way,
6.
I will say, every time I've done that, which I always do because I totally accept. They're like, hey, listen, the guy, we come to the final match and he goes like, hey, bro, we got 12 packs for the winner. And the other guy gets 2 or something like that. I don't know. It's like, hey, bro, do you want to just split? And then I go yeah, fuck it, let's just split. Why not? I always win.
I know.
I always win. I've won every single time.
I'm never the one that throws a deal out there, but always just asks me to. But I'm like, I don't want to, man. I'm going to beat you, motherfucker.
I would figure you would be the guy to say no. I'm the kind of guy that's...
Well, I always say yes to it because it makes sense. Guarantee
fucking makes sense. Fucking suck my dick.
I know.
Does not make sense.
So
I always say yes because I'm just I just get passive with that kind of stuff. I'm just like, yeah, that's really sounds good. But I've always won, so I'm like, God, fucking damn it. So, fuck that. Next time I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to lose. I get nothing. But you know what? I'm going to be proud of myself. Standing up to the man.
Yeah. So,
I was going to say, because we did split, we both got 8 packs. I opened up in those 8 packs Exquisite Firecraft, Gaia's Revenge, Starfield and Nyx, Kytheon's Irregulars, another fucking Honored Hierarch, a Managorger Hydra, and a Wiltleaf Winnower, and an Amethyst Awakening, which I'm so excited about this card.
Yeah, I know.
I was
that Revenge card is the one that you sacrifice a creature and whatever happens, right?
Gaia's Revenge is a 8/5 for 7 mana, 2 green.
Oh, no.
That's
5 the haste guy. Never mind.
Yeah,
I don't care about that
not
guy.
the bear.
That guy sucks.
Gaia's Revenge can be countered with haste. Gaia's Revenge can be the target of green spells or abilities from green sources.
Now, that card sucks, except... It's a good sideboard card against control. That's it. That's all that card is.
Well, I'm not saying Construction Standard, but that's a fucking great limited bomb.
No. Construction Standard. Okay. It's sideboard. It's same thing with the Hydra. Mistcutter. Same thing as that. It's just an 8/5 against blue-black control that you bring in 3 of them or whatever, and then you're able to not be countered. Right? It's not be countered, right?
Yep.
It can't be countered.
So it can't be countered, and then you swing for 8. So it's 8 damage for 7 mana?
7 mana.
And that's it. That's all you do. I mean, you're playing green, so who gives a shit? And then you just do that, and then you just do as much as you can. Maybe even win. I mean, why not? So
without going into super great detail, just give us a quick rundown of how the second pre-release went for you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go deeply into this because it wasn't very great. I pulled more money, I would say, out of my pre-release pack, but I ended up going I wanted to go. What was it? Green. I picked Nissa for my pre-release pack.
Okay.
So I ended up getting fucking Honored Hierarch as my pre-release one, which I'm just God damn it. So I wanted to go green white because I also pulled Gideon or Kytheon, Hero of Akros.
Nice.
So I was like, fuck yeah, I gotta play that, right? Gotta play it. I would have loved to have played blue with artifact support because I got Thopter Spy Network, but I had no other fucking artifact producing cards. So I ended up going green-white the first game, got my first match, got my ass handed to me. So I switched to green-blue for the rest of the things, splashing a couple planes to try to play Gideon still, basically. So after that, my deck performed much better. I ended up going 2-2 overall, but the next 2 matches after match 1 were just chillackings. This one dude was so salty. Before he even opened his pack, I could tell this guy was going to be the guy. Loudly saltiness and bitching the whole fucking time, and he was. So I ended up beating him, and after each game, it's oh man, I would have fucking had you if this happens, but it didn't happen. I don't want how you want me to console you right now, because you're just kind of freaking out, dude. Okay, let's relax. I get it. But the other great, like I said, I pulled Thopter Spy Network. The other fucking amazing money card that I'm ecstatic about pulling is Harbinger of the Tides foil.
Nice!
I'm just, that card is already sliding into so many Merfolk decks, it's stupid.
It's a beast.
And it's so good. Even Unlimited,
it's
great.
$4 or $5 non-foil. Foil's probably 10.
It's gonna go up though.
And it's gonna go up because, you're right, it's gonna go down eventually, because even though it's Merfolk and it can be played in Eternal formats, none of those style cards, those 2-mana cards, are going to be $25. Even ever. No matter 5, 10 years. But
I don't have to buy it, so I'm happy about it.
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is that it still will be a played card, which means it will never be 50 cents. It'll always be, $3 to $5 or whatever it'll be. It'll always be a great card. So hold on to it, sell it, whatever. It's just always going to be a really great card.
The cool land I pulled in that, which is uncommon, is the Foundry of the Consoles, which no matter what deck you're playing, you're going to go ahead and slot this in. Is tap it to add a colorless mana, or pay 5 and tap this, sacrifice it, put 2 1/1 colorless stop your artifacts onto the field.
Fuck yeah. I think that is an underrated card.
For limited, it was great.
Whoever, read it again. I want you to read it again. How about that?
Like, for 5 and tap it, sacrifice Foundry of the Consoles, put 2 1/1 colorless stop your artifact creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield.
So it's 6 mana and sacrificing a land to make 2 1/1s.
Yeah, but in limited.
But I think it's so great in limited.
Yeah, and
I think a
land, all the artifact,
a
plays
land
around,
that in late game you can sacrifice and make 2 1/1s that with flying that can block anything. Like, for some reason in my mind, like, a land like that is just like a gigantic deal. I think that is just like a fucking underrated huge card in limited. And I know it doesn't tap if you're playing 3 colors. Okay, maybe even really hard to play it. But if you're playing like Is It or something like that, like, play this one card and like get your fucking Thopters. Get the artifacts to have haste and get pumped 1/1 from your other creatures. Like, it could be a land that makes 2 2/2 flying haste creatures. You don't know. I mean, like, whatever you're playing around, it could be like a gigantic deal, and it's a fucking land. Like, I don't know. For me, it just seems like a really big deal.
Oh, I agree. I saw it, I was like, well, that's going on my deck. Like, no matter what colors I was playing, I was still laying the cards out to pick them. I'm like, well, I'm putting them on the deck. Like,
yeah, it's 6 mana, but it's limited. Like, it's okay if it's 6 mana and limited. Like, that's fine. It's not a spell. Like, it's a fucking land that you use for 4 turns, and so you got value for 4 mana, and then you make 2 creatures out of it, and those creatures get pumped and haste and block and whatever. It's just...
I'm not as big on it, but it's a decent pull late game. It's like, turn 15 and you're like, okay, anything but a land. Anything but a land. And then you pull this and you're like, well, alright. It's better than a basic force.
Right. But it's a land that creates the value of like a 3 or 4 mana spell.
Right.
Yeah. That also provides you colorless mana, which once again, you're not really looking in limited for like mana that, there's not a lot of like triple costed spells. Like, you're looking for a colorless is kind of okay sometimes in limited. You're looking for like, you like to draft cards that have 1 mana symbol in the casting cost. That's a big deal for like splashing colors to make sure you play cards like that. I know, like, when you're playing like a bomb, like a card that's like really good, okay, fine. If it's double red and 1, if it's that good, go ahead and play it. But otherwise, like, having 1 mana is no big deal. 1 color symbol on the card is like what you're looking for. So having a colorless mana, it's still a fucking mana. Like, it might not matter. You might have 1 red to cast it, and then the other like mana doesn't matter, so you're good to go. So I feel like it has a ton of value in itself. It just does a significant job.
The other thing that was amazing was that guy I played with was getting salty. He was playing red-black. And I remember what card it was, but he had some card like when he played it, you're able to bring a creature back to your hand from the graveyard. So, like, he had Fleshback Marauder, which he'd done to me earlier in the game, so I'm like, okay, well, he just dropped it. I know he has his card in hand or whatever, and I know he's going to do that, so, okay, I only have 1 creature on the board, and it was, like, a really good creature. I think it might have been Gaia's Revenge, because that was another card I got, and I sealed pulled for that one. So, he's like, okay, well, I can finally get rid of that guy, because you sacrifice your own guy. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and do that. So he does that, goes and brings his flashback back, plays his flashback, like, okay, Dr. Foundry, or that fucking land, the Foundry of Consoles. Like, okay, tap, sacrifice an artifact, keep my Gaia's Revenge, and fuck you in the face for game. It was fantastic. So, I ended up having to go deep on some artifacts, so I ended up playing green-blue. So that Dr. Spy Network is a fucking good card, and it was a good card without legitimate artifact support for it.
Right. Fair enough.
Just like a little bit of artifacts I was able to do with it was just good. So, I ended up going 2/2, 1/2 packs. I pulled Flame Shadow Conjuring and Disciple the Ring. No, actually, I pulled that in a seal pull. So, my other rares from the noon release were Guildleaf Winnower. Guildleaf Winnower, Disciple the Ring, which was not playable in limited. That's not playable in limited.
What is that one?
That's that one that's kind of like Ojai Exemplars, where it has
Oh, the blue.
Pay one,
the
exile.
3/4, that- okay, yeah.
And that's not playable limited.
Nah, that fucking card sucks.
And so Flame Shower Conjuring, Honored Hierarch, Gunner's Revenge, Stop for Spy Network, Harbinger of the Tides, and Kytheon, Hero of Akros.
Nice.
So it was fun. Didn't pull shit really. I mean, I didn't have like a great one like I did at midnight. But I felt better.
Hearing about what you played makes me feel like I was there. So
Well, I was actually going to ask you, are you down for a Moto pre-release?
I'm down. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm guaranteed doing it.
Yeah, you want to go the same round? Same match?
Yeah, let's do
That'd
it.
be cool.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that looks
Let's do
cool.
it.
Yeah, this format for draft for limited is just, I couldn't believe how good it was and how much fun it actually is. Like there's
That's sweet.
so many stuff, things between artifacts and renowned stuff and so many good fucking legitimate strategies to go.
I feel
It's
like
really fun.
this, like every core set more or less, that I'm not very excited about it as far as like what I want to buy with my own money, for singles to build on my constructed decks. I feel like there's not a lot there, but I do understand that under a limited format that it can be pretty bonkers and really, really powerful, really fucking fun. So I do see that. And so, yeah, I will absolutely draft with you Mr. Knife City and Mr. Samhain Crow over Moto starting next weekend.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No
It's
question.
fun.
No
It's
question.
fun.
So it's like, what is it to draft? $30?
It
Basically,
is.
Steel.
So it's 25
Yes, I think it's
because
25.
you spend $5 to get choose your color, basically, and then it's $20 to enter. So
Okay.
it's $25.
Right. That, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
I'll pay it once. I don't care. Draft some shit, get some good rares, hopefully.
Yes, since I've missed the past couple pre-releases, I really want to do it on Moto. So
Sounds great. I'm down.
So moving on to our little wrap up here, there's been a change with the way judges deal with a certain violation in gameplay. So with drawing extra cards has either resulted in a game loss or I think it's been more of a gray area depending on the judge. And don't quote me on this because I'm not a judge. I don't hang out with judges. I don't know exactly, but it's been a game loss or it's been a real gray area. And it's hard to rewind the game state because of the fact that you get to see extra information and which card exactly was it in your hand and blah, blah, blah. So there's been a new ruling that if you were to draw an extra card, regardless of whether it's, your first draw or off of a spell or whatever. So if you draw an extra card, your opponent gets to look at your hand with the extra card, and they get to put back however many cards
Extra that you
pulled. I'm not sure. I forget if it's on the bottom of your library or what. That sounds right.
I imagine you have to shuffle it in.
Yeah, but so the fact is that sure, it's not a game loss, but your opponent gets to see your entire hand, and they get to choose what to take out of your hand. So what do you get?
Free thought seizure.
Yeah, free thought seizure.
But it is better than a game loss. You fucked up. You fucked up. Oh my god, I drew an extra card. What do I do? I saw the top card of my library. It's an unfair advantage. I can't just put it back because it changes the game. What happens?
So exactly, it's better than having the game loss. You get to play still, but at least your opponent still gets a pretty sweet advantage of getting to know exactly what you're trying to do in your hand and take out exactly what card would be good for you in that time.
All I can when a Knife told us about this tonight, because I never heard of this. All I was thinking is just don't fuck up. Then that's it. Don't mess around with your fucking draw spells. Just count those cards out. Some people actually a lot of people. They do the thing where they, if they draw 3, they go ahead and go one hand on top of their deck, and they spread 3 cards on top of their library, and then pick it up all at once. And in my mind, I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna go ahead and put one at a time.
Yeah.
Really simple, alright, 1, okay, count it, okay, 2, alright, is it sticking? Is it sticking? Is there 2 cards there? Okay, there's 2 cards there. Okay, 3rd card, really, 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 thinking and really careful about drawing my cards because it sounds like it's a big deal when you draw extra cards, and it is. Of course it is. All I'm saying is make sure you take your time. You know what you're doing. You don't have to do it fast. You don't have to do that thing where you spread the top 3 of your library and then take it all at once, and then you have 4 in your hand by accident, and you're like, oh shit, fuck all that. Just take your time, play Magic correctly.
So it says here that it gets shuffled back into the library, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And also it says, by allowing the opponent to choose, the judge does not have to make a strategic assessment, which is an important requirement for any penalty, as it protects the judge from accusations of bias. So
there you go.
It makes it a little less complicated for him.
Can't blame the judge anymore when you fucked up, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought it was an interesting rule change that people who are going to be playing competitive Magic are going to have to deal with. Although I mean, like I said, I'm not a judge, so I don't know how difficult it is in that situation to fix the situation. But it does seem a little hefty, but I guess it is better than a game loss.
Yeah, I like the change because, like you said, it protects the judges a little bit when it's not their fault that you made a mistake. But then, just ending a fucking match, it's important because you made this little mistake. It continues the gameplay.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, that person deserves a legitimate advantage because you fucked up.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good change.
I mean, simple as this, they can be really extreme, but it's not a game loss.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I mean, they can fuck your hand up. Big old hand disruption.
Get rid of that fucking Elspeth you're about to drop and win the game with.
There could be a strong argument to say that, if you make a misplay, like drawing an extra card or whatever, that you saw this advantage and you have whatever, then, you should probably just lose the game. You fucked up. This is a big deal. You saw your top card and there's nothing to do about it. So, there could be an argument made to just fucking lose the game. Well, now there's a rule that you don't, so then there you go. It's something.
Yeah, it's a little less feel bad for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So anyways, I think that's going to wrap it up for episode 45 of If Lands Could Kill.
Please, everyone, go on to Twitter, God damn it, and follow us. If Lands Could Kill. We want all the people ever to go ahead and follow us on there and our YouTube channel.
Comments, questions, anything. Hit us with it.
We have a couple, we have
talked to
a little handful of people that really enjoy us and interact with us, and we love it. It wants us, I want to get up in the morning because of you guys. So everyone out there, please interact with us and just ask us questions and just tell us how your fucking day has been. Tell us about anything. Show us your new decks and show
us your dick pics.
Show us your dicks. Decks and dicks. That's what it is. Next episode, decks and dicks. Exclusive. So no, I want to see what you guys are playing, where you guys are playing, what's going on with what you're doing in Magic. So please, everyone, just
we love the interactions. You've seen other podcasts that get comments posted to them, they don't respond at all. We respond right away. We get a kind of a kick out of talking to the listeners that we have and having interactions and talking. We don't just ignore people. It's you said this, and then you want to talk shit? Well, cool. Let's have a fucking interaction. It's fun.
And then also, I keep thinking about, subjects for a noob's knowledge. And
oh my god.
I cannot.
Stop. I was just going to mention noob's knowledge. I was waiting. You were talking and I'm I wonder if he's going to mention noob's knowledge. I wonder if he's going to mention if we haven't done it in a while and we should figure out we are still trying to be a podcast for newer players, even though anyone can listen because who cares, but we would like to make sure that people that are new to Magic, that we can explain cards a little better than the average podcast, because a lot of them just go run through cards really fast. And even though we may make the mistake and run through cards really fast, we try to stop and slow down and make it annoying for the advanced player, but easier for the beginning player.
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of stepped away from that, not on purpose.
Just our own personal growth in the game.
Yeah, just because we get all excited and we want to talk about this and that. And also, we've been kind of struggling for topics for noob's knowledge. At least I have. Every Wednesday, I'm about to go to bed. I'm all right, what can we talk about tomorrow for noob's knowledge? And I can't think of anything. So if you guys have any stuff you're wondering about, or that one guy how do you play test a new deck when you don't play in person a lot?
Right.
That was perfect question that I just couldn't think of.
We have simple questions online, on our YouTube channel, I played a Manifest deck against Samhain Crow, and it's what is Manifest? And it's in a sense, the advanced player would be just like look it up, like or whatever, like
Right.
or you should just if you've played limited, like you should just know what manifest is. But like not every player is as serious as us. Like there's a lot of listeners out there like do not research Magic every fucking waking hour. So like
casual. Play certain formats.
Exactly. So you want to know what just like the simple things are of the new set. You may not even know that Magic Origins came out this last week. That's totally fine. Like you don't have to know every damn thing that we feel. We get like complacent knowing that what we know and how we keep track of what Magic does now. But like a lot of players are just like playing every 2 weeks or whatever, and like they don't see this other side of it. They're just playing with their friends. They just look online every once in a while. So we're trying to go back to that, but it's been a little lull in it for the past few months. So
right, we're getting back on track with the videos also. So check out our YouTube. All of the links and usernames and Twitters and all that stuff is in the show notes.
Yeah, we had a booster box opening video,
fresh box opening video.
Yeah, of Modern Masters 2 from Samhain Crow. It's a $240 booster box of Magic cards. So a big old price tag on it. Very expensive cards. It's really, really fun to open. We had that, and then alongside that, of course, I had my San Diego Comic-Con promo Planeswalker box that, once again, I just don't feel like anyone else has done it.
Oh, yeah, I was very happy when I saw that. I was like, oh, wait a minute, you posted that. Like that was a good idea. I'm really glad you did the video of it.
That's fantastic. I'm just saying that, like, every one of us is just... We don't have all the ideas, but like each of us are just going to try in different ways. We're just trying. So
and also,
we'll see.
Also, if you have any requests for like deck techs, because most of the decks I talk about, I build on Moto, and I know we've done a handful of deck techs in the past. So go ahead if you have any requests, shout them out. And
well, maybe you got your own deck that you want to have some feedback on of what you think, if you got maybe good or bad in it, just hit us up. We'll look at your deck.
Honestly, if you got a deck that's cheap, like I'll pay for it and build it and play it. Like I don't care. If it sounds fun to me, like I don't mind spending, $30-$40 on a deck and just going and hitting it up. If you want me to test out your fucking Splinter Twin deck, then you can probably just go look online somewhere and go suck someone else's dick. But otherwise,
I can proxy it.
Yeah, you can proxy it. But otherwise, I mean, like really, if you want to, if you have an idea for something, let us know, and I'll play test that. I don't mind. It sounds like fun.
The weirder, the better.
Yeah, weirder, the better.
We love that for sure.
Absolutely,
we love those fancy little tiered 2.5 decks that are just fun to play with.
Yeah, whenever like weird enchantments come out that it's like, oh, all creatures get this, and it's like, oh, this is not a card. This card sucks. But like if you build around it, it sounds like fun. That's all that matters. Like if it sounds fun, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? So
fuck yeah.
You gotta use that demonic pact enchantment.
Yeah, demonic pact.
Just figure out somebody to screw them and give them the enchantments they lose or something.
All face down creatures are one less to cast.
No, that's a horrible.
Or I'm just right. You are correct, but it still like makes you.
I hate drawing that or pulling that fucking card out of the back so much.
You are so correct.
But that manifest shit's not my deal. So like,
but it is mine though. I know.
But that's why I want to give you all mine because I fucking hate pulling them.
Right, exactly. So I get that, and I'm like, all right, fuck it. I get 4 of those. I get 2 2s for 2 all day that can have an upside. Like that sounds great. So it's all this weird decks or these weird cards that come out that cannot be played and constructed unless they're like under like a really serious restricted path. It sounds fun to me though. So.
Fuck yeah. Well, that'll wrap it up for us. I'm Knife City.
Samhain Crow. Hot to the sauce.
And we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
The lights are on, the TV's on, the foot of pressure still fucking simply stop. Skin like toaster, suckers of skin, been out in life, not the people rising out of bed, singing of a master chef, like Ghostface. Women pleasure men, not the web of this golden hand. As you bleed, the wine is fire, the whiskey's full of stars. Festive beauty, the buddy suit, work in the bar. The lovers fuck, then post and smell. Passion, pain, tribute at the foot of the bombs. The men talking to the master chef, like Ghostface. Women pleasure men, not the web of the golden hand. Still his eyes of light. of his